hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, all videos.
Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Everybody. Thank you very much for watching.
Hey Gray, is it?
What you got? The show hasn't even started yet, Mary Lou. Jesus.
Huh? Sorry, Jesus.
It's the house!
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
Well, the dogs are way over there. They're like a mile away. Oh well, they're there though. I guess I emailed back and forth with Ashley, so she might be calling in later, the wife of David. Everybody calls him David, not Jonathan, right? So she might be calling in. She also sent me a long email, and I put it to audio, like I just had a program read it so I don't lose any, and it just kind of generically reads it. So you'll be able to listen to that. And then after that, maybe she'll call in. But she also said that she doesn't mind if people play the audio of the, the shooting, as long as, I give her a warning first so she doesn't have to listen to it. So if I play that on here, I'll obviously, because on the screen right now is the actual video that I brightened up a little bit. So we'll play that at some point too. But we'll do that here in a minute. Yeah, so I was on Court TV again. It was about, I was supposed to be on for the Sebastian Rogers, but then given the news that came out, they put me on for the Madeline Soto. And it's weird that that lady always says like a lot of stuff that I just kind of want to bring up a little bit, and then I feel like I'm just going to be copying. But it's cool, I guess. But yeah, so I was on there. We only got 140 people watching. Everybody's probably into the Madeline Soto, I guess. Not sure. Thanks, K-Me, up there. Get the show started. Yeah, so there was a fifth arrest made in that Oklahoma case where the the lady was going to go visit her child, and she had a court supervisor with her, and then there was 4 arrests already made. They arrested that other guy that was mentioned in the document. So looks like they've got everybody arrested there. But we did the Jonathan Forsythe update a couple days ago. They ruled that he killed himself in that one. Still kind of weird that there was a van driving around, but we remembered he gave away a bunch of gifts to all of his family members, etc., and they thought that was kind of weird. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and there's stuff there's stuff that's in the, like we were talking about last night, maybe, is it an ex-boyfriend or, something like that. There's other people speculating on different theories out there. People are sending me emails with various things on it. No proof of anything. of course. Welcome, Lisa Prolina. All right, so everybody go out and share the live stream really quick. All right, go get it and take it somewhere. We got to get more eyes on this one. I'm going to put it in my Facebook group here. If you guys aren't a member of Grant Hughes Investigates on Facebook, you should go in and sign up on there. Because I usually post everything and you get a notification. I'm going to go put that on there, and then and it made you have nightmares? Wow. Yeah, I think this case here should be more popular. As soon as it's more popular, all the troll type YouTubers come in and they start doing it where it's just irresponsible, you know, crazy conspiracy theories over and over and over again. So hopefully we can get, you know, as much done as possible before they start taking over. You know how they do it. Never ends. Never ends. See, Gray, why do you care what the other ones do? I don't know, I just do. It's weird. Yep. Some of us travel less, road less traveled. Welcome, Melissa Teal. Yeah, this is wild. There's only 155 people here. Can you guys go out and share, please? Thank you. Usually get like 300 or 400 for sure, you know, but YouTube, I already did a show today, so maybe they're not going to allow me to, you know, notify anybody again. Hey, what's going on? J.K. Suzy. Here, let me turn it on. I want to hear how that's read. I have a night off. Been watching Restream for 12 days. Freaks. How's things? What kind of shirt you're sporting tonight? I'm not really sure. I think it's Under Armour. I wore this when I went to CrimeCon in New Orleans that one time. But thank you. Yeah, this is crazy. Jesus. But either way, what I'll do is I'll make, you know, if she calls in, I'll take the highlights and I'll make a video of that. Then it's out there, just that portion. See. They allow only 3 notifications in 24. I know, but I did a show yesterday, and maybe I did a community post too, so maybe that used it up. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, to be honest with you. Oh, and by the way, the JLR whack job is out there doing it again. He was running around. He's just a comedy show, you guys. It's stupid. Did you see her post in that? Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, of course I have. Truthfully, I mean, you act like I'm coming to this late. All right, let's see what this says in here. All right, let's see. Here we go. Here we go. You.
H-U-Z-Z-Z-Z-Z-Z-Z-E-E-E-E. I have a night off. Been watching Restream for 12 days.
You.
How's things? What kind of shirt you sporting tonight?
Yeah. What did you see? What was crazy? That post? I don't think it was crazy at all. Just a normal post. Thank you for the way you did the audio clip last night. Yeah, so we're going to do the audio clip on today's show, and I'll let Ashley know, if she happens to be watching, that I'm going to play it, because she doesn't really want to hear the whole thing. I sent her that little portion that, you know, we think says Jonathan or what is it, Jason or Jacob or whatever the hell it was, and she says she's saying stop it, and it's weird because, you know, if you just want to hear, if you think about hearing stop it, you hear that, you can hear that too if you want to on one of them. Yeah, we didn't need to do the advertising, Mona. again in the chat. I just already said it. It was an embarrassment. Yeah, he says those things too. He says psycho. He says, you know, effer, you know, psycho. And then he goes on, and, you know, she says stuff too. Okay. So how about, I'm going to play the audio of the, you know, the letter she wrote, you know, basically. I mean, she's sharing it out there. I mean, she wrote it, and, you know, I'm just going to play it as an audio file, and I think it's interesting. Maybe I'll pause it here and there. Just got to find it. And if you're not, well, first of all, if you're not aware of this case, if you're just showing up here, let me go, yeah, right there. This is in California, and took place like 9 months ago, or 8 months ago in, let's see, August of 2023. And it was, you know, this person, Jonathan, and his wife, Ashley, had this crazy stalker type person that kept showing up. He was really trying to creep out the family, and we see that on surveillance footage, which is right here. Like, look at this weird guy. He's coming up like this is actually their door, Jonathan's door here, or David. This guy comes up, puts tape on the door, and, you know, you can see his eyes right in there. And then on this one, apparently he's just sitting on these stairs. I can't see him, but he's just sitting on the stairs there. And then here's another one. Actually, I think that's, oh yeah, and then he comes up. Here we go. Apparently that's the same night, but just a little bit later. And he changed shirts, but he has the same hat on and everything. But he went up there to remove something off the same thing that he put on the door in this one. See that? He's putting something on the door, and he covers it. And then later he comes back to take it off, but then it's not even there. Alright, and he also, I think he's wearing shoes that are way too big for him, intentionally. And you can really see him in this one here. Like, they think this is the same guy. Look at, I mean, this guy's up there just to creep them out, right? Like, there's no other reason, this video right here, he's just up there to creep them out and be seen on camera. But look how big those shoes are down there. Sorry, that's, yeah, they're just massive, so I think he's intentionally doing that. But this person, I don't know how tall this person is because they're kind of hunched over. It's hard to tell. And then this is when the police were there on one of the occasions and just said, yeah, it's just probably some weirdo, just some weirdo. And then last August, him and his wife were coming home with groceries, and so if Ashley, if you're out there, I'm going to play the audio here in a second, okay? All right, so I'm just letting you know. You know, they just came home with groceries, and then somebody came up and then shot him in the face, apparently. And then, you know, he shot him twice in the face and in the back, and there's a struggle. And, you know, you hear Ashley there, you hear David yelling some stuff, and then the guy runs away. And you can see it. So here's this is another camera, and this camera is, I'll show you where that is. If you go down to Street View right here, their car pulls up and parks right outside, probably about where this, you know, right in this area right here. And then that camera apparently is right under here. That's what it looks like. And it's filming out, but it's light there, so the background's dark, And I brightened it up as much as I could and changed the contrast. I don't have the original video though. I mean, the original video, you would have more information in the video itself. If you have a copy, like a screen recording of it, you lose it. Hey, Zozo, let's just get to let me get to that part, all right? Yeah, I mean, it's weird. A lot of us don't. I can sort of hear that part though. But can we get to it first though? All right. So here we go. This is the full clip here. You'll see the car kind of pull up. So there's a car. So it's probably more like in front of that house. Yeah, I know. I just want to play it first before we get into a big discussion about it. So some car just drove by there. And you can actually make out right here, there's like a camper. You couldn't see it before, but when they pulled up, you could see it. See, watch when you can really see it right there. There's a wheel at the bottom, etc. See that? You know what I could do is just zoom in on the part down there. That really only matters. Like right in here. Like that. And I think you can see one of them walking around in front of the vehicle and they just get hit by the lights. So like they're opening up the door. And I don't know what that is. Is that a cell phone or whatever that is? But because you can't see the car, Kubi. That's why it looks that way. The cars are probably from here to here, and that's in the background. Anyway, so there they are walking in front of the lights. You can see them for a second. All right. So Ashley, if you're out there, this is the part right here you don't want to hear. See right there, that's where people think it says Jonathan, Joseph, something like that. It's hard to hear "stop it" there. Like it's hard to hear it. See? Yeah, I don't hear "stop it" at all. She says she said that though too. I think it's like, it sounds like he knows. I think it's more like, I think it sort of feels like he might know who the person is. Like, would you call, if somebody came up and shot you in the face, would the first thing you think would be psycho, or would you say that to somebody that you already know is a psycho who's showing up? Yeah, I don't hear that at all. I don't hear "stop it" at all in that part. It just doesn't even have any similar sound, but I guess maybe that's what's wrong with ears. Who the hell knows? For me, it doesn't say it at all. I'm going to play it again. It's over here. See, right there, you hear "stop it" right there. Like, that sounds like "stop it" to you, this part? Okay, coming up, listen. So like, "stop it!" I guess it could be "stop it." But man, I just really, that just doesn't really sound like that too much. Yeah, I know if they say the same thing twice, but Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's weird too, because if you listen to it as it's saying stop it, then you can hear it. But you can hear what anybody wants you to say. But I also asked her what it says, and she said it said stop it. But she says, no, stop it. But I don't hear no in there, do you? I don't hear no, like a no. Yeah. So that would mean that she doesn't really say any. I know, I can hear that too, though. I can hear Joseph, or I can even hear Jonathan. I mean, it's weird. Like, it just depends on what you're told first. So he's saying you effer, right? But apparently he got shot in the face. Maybe that messed up his jaw. And it says you psycho. She's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, she's just. And then right there, I guess she's saying stop it if you want to think that. But that's where people think she says Jonathan right there. Right there, Jonathan. But I can hear Joseph, Jonathan, and stop it, which is weird because none of them sound the same, right? Like Joseph doesn't sound like Jacob, or whatever the hell it was. No, Joseph doesn't sound like Jonathan, and stop it doesn't sound like either one of those two. But if you're listening for that word, you can hear it. And she says, "What the F?" She says, "What the F" again. And now she's saying, "Where's your phone? Where's your phone?" I don't know what he's saying. Like, maybe she says David in here somewhere. So and then she's saying, "Somebody call help." Right. But here's the thing, everybody. I mean, my opinion is I don't think she's part of some conspiracy here. So it really kind of, in some ways, I mean, she says she didn't say anything. A lot of you think she says stop it. So it's very possible that that's actually what she's saying, right? And, I don't know. It's hard to picture her being part of some conspiracy, especially when you consider what she wrote in the email. All right, so I'm going to play that now after we just played this. All right, and this is just outside. So if we go back to Street View here, that surveillance footage a minute ago with those weirdos walking around was right out here. That person was coming up these stairs, putting Vaseline on the camera and some paper, and then, the other time came up and stood over here and looked towards that door, and then another time came up and tried to get, it's crazy. And then he was shot right out here. This Street View here is from April 2023, which is 4 months prior to the homicide. But it was probably, he probably was shot like right around in this area right here, I would think. Right there. Are any of the Clarks in here tonight? I'm just checking. Well, that's what's weird. Is like that's what I'm saying. I think it's possible. I think it's more possible that David knew who the person was based on him saying, "You psycho, you psycho." See, that's what you'd call somebody that you already know is kind of crazy. Like if somebody just walked up to you on the street and started shooting you randomly, you'd probably be like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And it would be different. He was like, you effer, you psycho, right? So to me, that sort of indicates that he might know who the person was. It's too bad he didn't say the name, or maybe he didn't know the name. Maybe he just knows it's that weird stalker that's been walking around, right? And doesn't really particularly know exactly who that person is. So, and by the way, you guys, if you can help support the channel tonight, that'd be absolutely great. We had Jay Case and then one other person, so we're going to need to get the support to get the numbers up tonight. Thank you very much. All right. Yeah. So now I'm going to play that audio.
What happened that night? We got out of the...
Okay, so I just have a recording using one of those audio things, just so I can listen to it myself instead of trying to read it. All right. So here we go.
What happened that night? We got out of the car and opened the trunk. I then asked if he knew where my phone was, and we both went back into the car to get it off the charger. It was off because it had died on the way home from the grocery store in Bolton. We returned back to the trunk, and as he was handing me bags, all I heard was him suddenly screaming and running towards a man, then falling back. At this point I couldn't hear or see anything except him. I was in the street and he was on the sidewalk. I became blind dizzy at this point and I couldn't move. When I finally did, it was for the stairs of our home, because my thought was retrieve David's gun and to kill this man before he gets away. I stopped quickly, realizing I didn't have enough time, and turned around to hit the man as hard as I could with my purse. After I did, I froze and looked at him. He looked scared himself as he was staring and aiming the gun at David, as if he was just as surprised he did that himself. He never looked at me.
She said he looked scared himself. The person, like, he didn't know, he was like feeling weird that he just did that.
He never moved. He put his gun and hands back in his pockets and walked away quickly with his head down. Suddenly a man is just asking me, "Oh, what happened?" while I'm trying to find my husband's phone in his pocket. I don't remember if I responded to him, but as soon as I got the phone, 3 boys came around the corner asking what happened. I stood up and pointed at the man was still in view and yelled, "That fucker shot my husband." They then ran away and the man with his dog disappeared and I was alone again. On the call to 911 I was too frantic to answer any questions. I gave the address and that he was shot. They kept asking me where, and I couldn't think straight enough to understand they were asking where he was shot, not where we were. I dropped the phone while I was on the line and just tried to breathe so I could just think, to just save my husband. I don't remember how long I was there. I heard the police and I ran out to the street trying to wave them down. I was begging them to save him first before looking for the man, but it took an extra minute for ambulances to come. I ran to my husband and just tried to talk to him. I kept telling him he's going to be okay, that he needs to stay awake, and that God is with him. Only now is when I saw he was shot twice in the face. I held his head and looked him in the eyes and just kept repeating myself. Shortly after, paramedics started looking at his wounds. I saw the life drain from his eyes. I panicked and opened his eyelids and saw his right eye staring straight and his left eye rolling to the back of his head. I went to feel his pulse on his neck and it
So he said his left eye was like looking at the other eye, and then the other eye was rolled back in his head.
felt like running water through a hose. I then checked his wrist and it was the same. I sat back on my knees and everything went black. I felt someone pull me and they sat me somewhere in the grass. I came to and looked over to my husband's lifeless body and the paramedics talking, pronouncing him dead at 10:48 p.m. The women came to me and repeated it, and all I could ask, "You guys did everything you could?" And she said, "Yes, these wounds were fatal, and if we were to have saved him we would have needed a helicopter so he could be treated immediately. I'm sorry, but it's just far too late." I nodded and thanked her and the crew for trying. I felt insane for the last 5 hours we were standing outside. I called my parents and they arrived. They told me I chain-smoked a pack of cigarettes and walked in circles mumbling to myself. I didn't cry because I wasn't mentally there at the time. When I came to...
See, that's exactly the way it is too. Like I've had it where the only experience I have in my life that's like that is when my brother died, right? So I remember just going and I was just running around and just sort of busted through the doors, and I was just walking around, and everything's sort of like this weird tunnel vision craziness. It's wild.
Once again, it was to my ex-boyfriend's father wheeling my husband into a van. When I saw him, I knew I had to remind him of who I was. I knew...
Oh yeah, so listen to this part here. Listen to this.
I didn't cry because I wasn't mentally there at the time. When I came to, once again, it was to my ex-boyfriend's father wheeling my husband into a van.
So her ex-boyfriend's father, who's a detective, was wheeling her, David's body into a white van. I mean, this is it's pretty crazy at that point.
When I saw him, I knew I had to remind him of who I was. I knew he couldn't be on the case because of my past relationship with his son.
I mean, it's interesting that she thought of something like that, like right at that time. Like, wait, you shouldn't be working this because I had a relationship with, me or something,
It was out of respect for his job. I don't believe my ex had anything to do with this case. He reached out to me to make sure I was okay.
Okay, so I asked her, do you think the ex has anything to do with it? And she said,
it was out of respect for his job.
Okay.
I don't believe my ex had anything to do with this case. He reached out to me to make sure I was okay. His father had told him what had happened. We were friends for a while before we thought to rekindle what we had. At this point, he was the only person who really cared for my well-being, but I was also drinking very heavily at my own free will at this time. So heavily that I went to the trauma hospital. The doctors told me I should have died from alcohol poisoning, in fact should have killed a full-grown man. I was at the hospital for 4 days, and 3 days when I got out I crashed my car, GR86, not a Supra. I fucking wish though, I was wasted. I took 3 shots before driving from St. Inez to Lompoc to go to a bar, then 2 more drinks before driving back. I did it on purpose. It was an attempt at suicide because the memory of his eyes and the sounds of him screaming wouldn't stop. Fortunately I survived and it knocked me back into reality. I sobered up, broke up with my ex because he's still relentlessly a cunt.
Yeah, so the thing is, what's interesting about this is the ex-boyfriend's father is a detective, and then right after the homicide, the boyfriend, goes in there and becomes the shining knight, and they get back together again. I mean, that sort of fits right in with where the reasoning that you would think an ex might have something to do with something. You know what I mean? So that's really pretty, it's pretty shaky. That's the reason that they do these things. I mean, that is the motive of an ex is to take out the competitor and then be the hero coming back in. That's usually what happens, right? So I don't know. That's a little weird. And then now you have, his father wheeling his body away, and what is he taking it to the coroner? And then what goes on over there? Do you take out the bullets and so they don't link back to? I don't know. It's pretty strange.
Broke up with my ex because he's still relentlessly a cunt, gaslighting shit, and moved on. I'm handling this loss far better now. As for all of the weird things,
so she dumped him again because he was back to what he was doing before.
I wish could give you the entire story. A lot of weird stuff happened to David for 9 years before I knew him, and if we could ask him he'd gladly be sitting here writing you a novel. I remember him telling me a shooting had happened while he was living on G Street. Him and his son were inside. He didn't want to talk about it very much, so I don't know the details, but people had died that day. Couple days after, he was walking down his steps with yogurt and a spoon still in his mouth. He never forgot to add that part when he told this part for some reason, and a boy, 17-20yo, came up to him and said, "I'm going to kill you one day." He then took the spoon out of his mouth and asked, "You're going to kill me?" The boy responds, "I'm not. I'll send my brother to do it." His finale days in that complex. Next to his car was something spray painted on the wall of the building. I don't remember what it said, but he had a picture I can hopefully find, and a dirty bra on his windshield. He knew he was no longer welcome and had to leave. This, I believe, is around COVID when they moved into his parents' house. He had started doing streaming while in lockdown. While streaming, he was having difficulties and claiming we has being hacked. Received strange threatening emails and odd phone calls. He couldn't get into most of his account anymore. There's more, but I can't say for sure because he told me all this when I met him. I don't want to give misinformation. June 2022, soon after I met David, I frequented his apartment on 3rd Street. His aunt passed away and gave him the opening so people knew him and were friends of his aunt. This is why he lived here. When I came around, the neighbors took note of me. They didn't like me.
Yeah, this is just a long email she sent that I put to audio. I think it's better like that, then it's not, me trying to add any inflections or anything. It's just...
They treated me like I was some snotty rich white kid, and soon started treating David differently for having me around. Him and I ignored this because we didn't care, and in a few months I had moved in. When I moved in, obviously, they saw my nice things and not the years of work it took to get it. They soon started messing with us. Our upstairs neighbor made endless noise, I mean endless. It sounded like that woman was coked up moving furniture all day and all night. It never stopped. Then scratching in the wall. Him and I had guessed she put a hole in her wall and lowered a microphone to our wall to try and listen to us. Next door was a wanted gang member, and his girlfriend did not like when I looked her man in the eyes because when he was around she gave me the most terrifying death stare. We couldn't even have the window open because the neighbor across from us kept walking back and forth in front of it, peeking in. We took note but for the most part ignored this. I eventually saved up my own money to buy a car that I've always wanted. I wanted what I wanted, not a piece of shit. Again though, no one saw the years it took me, they just saw a nice car. So everything got worse. I would take my husband to the bus stop every one morning at around 5 a.m. One morning I came back, I find a skinny black lady with scraggly hair picking our lock. I turned around quietly and got back in my car as soon as possible. I called the cops and they didn't take me seriously, didn't even listen to my description of the person I saw. They made it up as they were asking the neighbors if they'd seen anything. I picked David up as soon as this ordeal was over and we bought 4 cameras. 2 inside, 1 on the window and 1 on the front door. That same night, when everyone thought they were out of view, they were in a group at the very end just staring at it collectively. Looked like something straight out of a horror film. A week maybe.
Here, I gotta rewind it.
That moving furniture all day and all night, it never stopped. Then scratching in the wall. Him and I had guessed she put a hole in her wall and lowered a microphone to our wall to try and listen to us. Next door was a wanted gang member, and his girlfriend did not like when I looked her man in the eyes because when he was around she gave me the most terrifying death stare. We couldn't even have the window open because the neighbor across from us kept walking back and forth in front of it, peeking in. We took note but for the most part ignored this. I eventually saved up my own money to buy a car that I've always wanted. I wanted what I wanted, not a piece of shit. Again though, no one saw the years it took me, they just saw a nice car. So everything got worse. I would take my husband to the bus stop every one morning at around 5 a.m. One morning I came back, I find a skinny black lady with scraggly hair picking our lock. I turned around quietly and got back in my car as soon as possible. I called the cops and they didn't take me seriously, didn't even listen to my description of the person I saw. They made it up as they were asking the neighbors if they'd seen anything. I picked David up as soon as this ordeal was over and we bought 4 cameras. 2 inside, 1 on the window and 1 on the front door. That same night, when everyone thought they were out of view, they were in a group at the very end just staring at it collectively. Looked like something straight out of a horror film. A week maybe after, a black man with dreads creeped up to the door and knocked. David and I thought he said, "It's Dave," or "It's Dev." People I've shared this with also think he said, "Nick." The audio is very unclear. David panicked thinking this man was trying to trick me into thinking this was David. We knew it was time to go. August 2022 Windscape. He found Windscape and we moved quickly with my father's help. In the
This is Windscape here.
morning when we started unpacking, there was a kid that only I saw, staring up the stairs from the sidewalk maybe 10 yo. Not like a curious child, but more like an intrigued adult. Not sure how to explain that. He nodded to himself and walked away slowly. Days after, David noticed gang tags on light poles and electric boxes outside that said "Sever" in black. Nothing much happened for a few months. We bought new cameras, and when we got to know our neighbors we bought them one too when we replaced our door camera for the second time. David had told me our neighbor's daughter had a stalker. I don't have further details besides that. February 2023 it begins. We had started to hear things in our attic. Like someone was walking.
She said it begins really quick in there. So 2023 is when it all, February 2023 I think is what she said. It all begins. They heard footsteps up in the attic.
Around. The next day we went to check and we discovered a hole in the wall that connected our neighbor's attic to ours. We didn't do anything about it at the time because we thought we were being paranoid from the last place. But we started taking note of a man in a silver car parking behind my car every night at 9 p.m. and leaving at 6:30 a.m. We knew he slept in the car. He did this 4-5 days of the week. No specific days. David had mentions he had heard this man rack a gun while in the car. One of those nights I was out and David was sitting on the stairs. The man who usually parked near me got out of the car quickly, then turned around to get back into the car, then never left the car again. David said this was extremely odd, as if this man didn't know he was sitting there and panicked when he saw him. He said he didn't get any other details. One time, while I was going to drop David off at work, there were two men standing on the sidewalk in front of our stairs staring at the road. I froze and tapped David on the shoulder while he was in the middle of locking our door. They didn't look at us. They knew we were there and walked towards W Pine Street. But when they got to the end, they walked opposite directions. This was at 4:30 a.m. March 2023. Our complex was redoing our deck, so it was boarded off and we couldn't see out the window. We were rewatching Walking Dead when he heard something on the deck. I poked a hole through the plastic to see and saw the man's boot swing over the deck fence. David and I ran the bedroom and called the cops. He had his gun ready in case they decided to get inside. When they arrived, they didn't do much. They stood in our home as we explained, and we even showed them the hole in the attic for safe measure. They brushed everything we said off, but I knew they could smell my weed pen, plus the show we were watching didn't really help either. One of those cops was newly on the force as well, so he didn't really know what he was doing, and the woman could care less. Days after, we knew someone was in the attic. They were intentionally stomping to scare us. We didn't call the cops this time because when David racked his gun while below the stomping, they left. In the morning we bought another camera and chicken wire and went into the attic. We covered up the hole and left the camera. Later that night I heard two men, while David was in the shower, yelling at each other, "I told you not to do that." What the fuck would you do that? Not sure if it was related, but it was a strange timing because it was at about the same time we heard footsteps those last few times. July 2023 they start showing up. This is when the videos you see start. Every time we were out, that man would show up doing weird shit and our neighbor would be the one to catch it. First time he was apparently pressed up against the corner of our door and they yelled at him through their window asking the fuck he was doing. He ran away and our neighbor's brother cast him but didn't get far. Then a few days after, he had put Vaseline on our peepholes and tape on our cameras. As the videos tells. While this was happening, we suddenly had a new surplus of people and motorhomes parking out in front of our complex. We both started to notice pieces of the roof left on our deck. Someone was on top of the building and never heard them. August 2023, a week before the murder, I saw someone who looked similar to the videos try stealing stuff out of a truck. The man who owned the truck lived in the motorhome in front of it, and spotting him asking, "What the hell are you doing?" The man put his hands in his pockets and head down like the man who killed my husband and walked in the direction of W Pine Street, but on the other side of the street. He said, "Oh, sorry man, can't really give you description of the voice because it just sounded like every other American Mexican male 20-30 YO. No accent." The day before the murder I found pieces of the roof again. Out of fear and anger I grabbed his gun so I could comfortably smoke a cigarette. He came out and told me, "In case you need to use it, remember to rack it." As I was tossing the debris off the side of the deck I spotted a man standing against the wall, listening to us. He ran around the building and I turned to David and said, "That fucker is here again." He was just fucking standing there and he ran off. God damn it. The man reappeared on the other side of the building, and when he reached the sidewalk he turned to us and walked backwards towards W North Avenue. I asked him what, and David told me not to antagonize him. We sat there for a minute more than went to bed.
I think that's it. That's all she wrote in that. But that she already went through and described the incident from before. I mean the incident of the actual shooting itself. Yeah, and so it's weird when you look at this in here, like that's probably a person right there. You know, the way that lit up like that. And so that person's moving around, being hit by the lights as they come around. And then they're sort of over by the back of the other car there. And it's pretty crazy. But you can see the person running off. I showed this last night. So right here, that's when the car pulls up. And those are people moving around. And then right in here, see how there's light there, all these lights? If you start moving, you'll see something move in front, right there. See, if this light disappeared because there's a person in front of it. Okay, and then watch the next light over. Watch, to the right. You'll see that in a second. So the first person went to the left first. Now they're coming back, and you'll see that light go out of view again. So I think the person came from this direction, confronted David over here, and then that other person is Ashley coming around. I think that makes sense now. Watch. So let's go back. I'm going backwards right now. So see this light right here? There's a person walking. Let's see if we go back. Yeah, there you go. So it's interesting. The person kind of maybe almost takes out that light, and they're going to the left in this one. Okay, and then Ashley comes around. This is the shooting's already going on right now. She comes around, and now look, that light goes out again because they're heading to the right. And watch that next small light that goes out. The next one next to it goes out, and then even the one on the far right goes out right there. Boom. So that's the person taking off to the right. They're just, I don't know, a few feet. Does it? It's right there. Look. We've shown the pictures. They're just, see, right there. Multiple times I've shown this. It's just right there. Let's see. It was a single military man who used to live there. He was a gamer. I don't think so. Despart, sorry. You must be a psycho, psychic, or a psycho, whichever one. Anyways, there you go. So the person left off to the right there. Yeah, this is, you mean the other apartment? Well, you didn't say that. You said how far are the apartments apart? There's this one and this one. I don't know where the other apartments were. She didn't tell me where those were. I don't think she's in on anything, but I do wonder why she wasn't scared of getting shot herself. I don't know. Maybe she was. She said she was gonna go try to get a gun, but realized she didn't have time. You know, I don't know. I don't know. It did seem like that. Like she didn't seem like she was in fear for herself being shot. She's just watching her. But you know, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it was really quick too, like Daphne just said. So what we're going to do now is we'll turn on the phones, and I don't know if you're out there. But here we go. Let me go to the, there it is right there. There's the phone number, the Skype number. So if you're out there, Ashley, there's the number to call. And then people can ask questions. And, you know, sorry you're having to go through all this. But I think it's been long enough. This case needs to get moving, get some action in the public, and you know, start getting pressure on this police department who seems to have not really been doing anything. So I don't know if she's watching or if she's out there or anything. I just know that, and thank you up there to Paulette Leonard, Kami, Sonia, 1L Michelle, WNC Granny. I don't think she's in on it, but I wonder why she wasn't scared of getting shot herself. And then Kim Christian. Oh. Let's see. My question to Ashley is, how long after her husband's death did she get back together? I don't know. It doesn't, that kind of stuff, you know. I mean, what's the appropriate amount of time? A month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? I mean, when you're young like that, you just want something to comfort you. You know, I remember feeling a little, you know, at that time, it's like you drink a lot and you're just trying to, you know, when I was 20 years old at the time, and you're just kind of trying to get through it. It sucks. Yeah, I definitely think they should. I mean, don't you think it's that part alone is weird. Because here's what people would think. Did you have an ex that maybe did something? And then it turns out that the ex's father is the detective, and he was wheeling his body into a van. And, you know, the story is told that he told the son, and then he went, wow, and then reached back out to her, and then they got back together again. But, I mean, that's exactly what somebody who kills like that is trying to do in a case where somebody's jealous. Like, they take out the competitor. And so that's where it's kind of interesting, like, wow. I mean, it could just be that that's exactly what happened and everything, but that definitely needs to be looked at for sure, 100%. But how easily would they look at it if he's the son of one of the detectives in this small little town? I mean, that might make it a little more difficult, don't you think? But I guess in the meantime, anybody else can call in, since we're just sitting around waiting now. She didn't tell me a specific time or anything. I don't remember what she said. I didn't talk to her on the phone. It was just and here's the post from today. It says, if any of you have any questions you want to ask me or want to know any information or details I might have, I'll gladly try my best to give you anything and everything. Thought I'd just put that out there because I don't get asked enough. I never had the chance to have a good relationship with my family, the Clarks, because I was only married to David for 11 months. I'm not a part of this conversation because they don't know themselves more than they know themselves more than they know me, and I understand. But it's unfair if you don't ask me too. So if they're not going to, yeah, I mean, the thing is you just got to reach out to people and ask questions, right? Well, let's see. But if it's unfair if you don't ask me too, so if they're not going to, I'm giving you the freedom to do it yourself. This goes for the Clarks as well. Videos and images were all stored on David's phone, so I apologize, I don't have many. The police haven't given me his phone back. The police report. I've asked them for the police report, but they said they won't give them to me because of the ongoing investigation. I haven't asked much since because it was always the same answer they give. I'll ask again if I receive them, I will send a copy to my husband's family. And then regarding the audio, she said, I was originally angry because I was warned. I understand there was warning in the beginning of the video. Oh yeah, about the hearing the audio. But when skipping through Snapchat stories carefully with no ideas, the decision was made and the same image of David used on both AI generated as well as the audio. I never saw the warning. I suddenly just heard the middle of it. Currently, I don't mind it being posted, but for future reference, a warning directly to me would be appreciated, so that's why I said it earlier. So I don't accidentally stumble upon it again. I apologize for my anger, but I do hope I'm understood. Remember, just because I witnessed and survived does not mean I have all the answers. I have plenty of questions myself that I'll never find an answer to because only David could help me. I want justice as much as all of you do. There's just only so much I can do. Yeah, there you go. So there was that. Let's see. And the thing is Sonia actually spoke with her and has like the conversation, notes about it. So I was gonna read that, and then I also have a neighbor's. I talked to the neighbor as well, But then she talked to Sonia, and then she took a bunch of notes. So I have that. So we can go over all that if we're not getting any phone calls or anything. Hey, look at that. Donna Aldridge gifted a membership. Awesome. Yeah, it doesn't work that way though, Riker. It gets way too, you don't have enough information in the video. Once you do a little bit of contrast, raise it up, it just becomes really pixelated. If you have the original video right off the camera, you'd have a better shot. But even then, with the darkness, it makes it hard, as I explained to you earlier. Let's see, I could have been the ex doing only to get back together with her again. And the question to Ashley is, what do you remember? Well, she's not here, WNC Granny. I mean, when she calls in, we can do these again. I mean, I work with video all the time, okay? So I can tell you that people get way too into trying to manipulate the videos, brighten it up, do all this stuff, and they start looking at pixels and pretend that the pixels are something. All right, it just doesn't work like that. There's a certain amount, and then it starts destroying the image. Let's see. Yeah, I gotta get my background music playing again. It's bugging me without it. All right. And Sonia's actually knows everybody, so it's kind of a randomly. She's been around in our show for a long time, but just happens to know these people. Now, but can you quit trying to type in questions until she shows up? I'm not going to find them again. Yeah, I'm not sure about the what you're saying. It was said in there about where the phone is. I appreciate it. Yeah. Was the dude military? Which one? The one that was killed? I guess he was in the military for a little bit. David. Yeah. So anyways, these notes say, from a phone call, when Ashley first met David in 2022, David told Ashley that he had been being harassed for the past 8 or 9 years for an incident that happened on G Street in Lampa. I guess we could, I don't know where on G Street it was, but I mean, we could just kind of check to see where that is. Yeah, so G Street, and we don't know if it's north or south, but G Street looks like it goes all the way across. So, I mean, G Street could be right over here even, Okay. David would have been 24 or 25 years old at that time. Yeah, so that was like 9 or 10 years ago. There were multiple people involved And David said he thought it was gang stuff. David himself was never in a gang. Ashley does not know the details, but she said David is now 17-year-old son. So David has a 17-year-old son. He must have been 17 or 18 when he had that, had his child. Might have more information. So approximately 2012, 2013, when the harassment first began. Well, see, I wouldn't say that that is associated. I mean, I'm not saying it's not, but it's also kind of, who knows. Around June or July of 2022, Ashley and David moved into their first apartment on 3rd Street on Lompoc. Okay, so that was the first one. So you're saying it was on 3rd Street? Where's that? Yeah, you can't find, it's hard to find David in like Ben Verified or anything like that. I think he seemed like he went out of his way to make it hard to find him. Let's see, 2nd. So this is 3rd right here. So somewhere over here they were in an apartment. Don't know exactly where, but here, I'll send her the link. Okay. So it could be anywhere along 3rd Street, along here. Don't know. That's G Street, 3rd Street, and this is where they lived at the end. Massive lull, you guys. Massive lull. Alright, let's go. We're at the top. While living on 3rd Street, Ashley and David began to be harassed. It was a very bad area of Lompoc. In one incident, a black woman tried to break into their apartment but was not able to get in. Other people tried to break in as well. Different people of different races. Some were close to getting in but were unable to get in. Ashley and David did not know if people were trying to hurt Ashley or just break in to steal stuff. Again, it was a very bad area of town where there were lots of break-ins and crime. Ashley had nice things when she moved in, and David and Ashley speculated that maybe she gave off the impression of being a rich white girl. They were very scared of all of this. At that time, they did not have cameras installed since the area was also known as a drug area. They knew that a camera would have been a bad idea as gang drug people are not okay with that. Ashley and David were scared. They phoned the police many times. Ashley said the police never took them seriously and nothing was ever done to protect them. Thank you, Kit. Hold on, let me see. I've got a text here. Oh, over there. Yeah, I guess you have like a private Instagram. There's different pictures on it right here of them. Kind of small, but that's Ashley and David, and there's another picture right there. That's her here. That's one of the ones we've seen, but pretty small. Anyways, it says they were very scared. Okay, during their last month living on 3rd Street, they finally installed a camera. There was a very weird incident of a man that came up to the door, knocked, and then softly said to the camera, possibly, it's Dave. Ashley thinks this person may have been trying to get her to think it was her David. And to keep her, I think that person looks like they're just a meth person. They're kind of tweaky. I've seen that one. That's the guy we played last night that has dreadlocks on. Doesn't really seem... Let me see if I can find that really fast. Yeah, there it is, right there, right at the top. So right here, this guy. Doesn't sound, to me it just sounds like he goes woof. Woof. This guy just looks like a meth tweaker, you know, to me. It's interesting how they never want their faces seen, though. What do you mean it's me? Hey, thanks to Broken Skull. Yeah. So this guy just seems totally different than the other guys. I think that guy's like a stalker, or not a stalker, like a tweaker. And the other people that are up on that, you know, gangway or whatever the hell you call it between the two apartments. They were, that's a stalker. And that person was trying to freak them out. And would show up all the time and put the Vaseline on the door and everything like that. I think it's a different person. No, Scrooge. Hey, Scrooge, can you go somewhere else, please? Thank you. During the last month living on 3rd Street, August 2022, they finally installed a camera there. It was a very weird incident. We just went over that one. Note, meth creep, the man who has tattooed arms and weird dreadlocks. Because I told her, I think that guy's just a meth person. Ashley thinks there might be more than one perpetrator that was doing the stalking. What do you mean that was his job? Who are you talking about? Let's see. Is the one he saw on Ashley's newly... He didn't look comfortable at all. He had his back to the camera. The man who has tattooed arms and weird dreadlocks, looking wig and weird movements is the one we saw on Ashley's newly released door camera video. What was his job? I don't. He worked at a casino. Remember? We went over that last night. Yeah. Well, the guy at the door. Maybe you thought you were asking if he was a meth dealer. No, he worked at a casino. Remember? And so did that's where they met. Him and his... I think he just got a new job, though. So I can't remember. Wait, what was the new one? He worked at a... What was that new place he just worked at? Oh, that's right. He worked at the space base. He was at a casino and then he got a job at the Space Force. Right over here. Vandenberg Space Force. Right in this area. So he just got that one recently. I don't know what he got there. Anything. There you go. You got the answer. Ashley thinks there might be more than one perpetrator that was doing the stalking. Was there a group trying to terrorize them? David said to Ashley that rats travel in packs. Shortly before they were married on September 27, 2022, Ashley and David decided to move into their apartment on the 1300 block of North L Street. They wanted to get away from the bad area of town. I mean, is there really a good area in that town? It's just, Doesn't seem like it. On moving day, they had a moving trailer. Ashley's dad was helping them to move while Ashley's dad and David were loading the trailer. Ashley observed a little boy, and she also put that in the same thing she wrote to me, 8 or 9 years old, staring at them. The boy did not see Ashley. The boy was wearing red hoodie and black pants. He had curly black hair, looking like a grown out buzz cut. Ashley said the boy gave a nod to himself, kind of like a note to self, giving the impression of, okay, we got you. Okay, but that's just that could be a paranoid interpretation of an 8 or 9-year-old boy nodding. The boy was light-skinned or Mexican. Ashley and David bought new cameras that they were planning to install immediately at their new place when they moved in. One camera for them and one camera to give to their upstairs neighbor. Well, they both lived upstairs, so it wouldn't be like the upstairs neighbor. They both lived upstairs. And so that says, okay, hold on a second. On moving day, they had a moving trailer. Ashley and David bought new camera. Let's see. We'll now call the stalker the creepy L Street stalker. We will now call this stalker at their new apartment the L Street stalker for this document. Ashley believes stalkers possibly tracked them from their 3rd Street apartment to their new North L Street apartment. The creepy L Street stalker was spotted by the neighbor when Ashley and David were at home. The neighbor saw the stalker standing at the corner of Ashley and David's apartment, pressed up against the corner. Ashley said their camera looked out straight from the door, and the neighbor's camera was more at an angle from the side of the door. Ashley said the stalker would press up against the corner to go undetected from the camera's view. There was an incident where a stalker that Ashley believes could have been meth creep climbed up and out onto Ashley and David's deck. I mean, think how creepy that is. Jesus. Like right here. Goes out there and probably, stood right on this edge here and then climbed up like that. Got onto the deck. Now, they were able to get a glimpse of the man as he jumped up and over the fence of the deck. They called the police, and the police responded and came into their house. Ashley had smoked a bit, so there was the aroma of pot. She thinks that because of that, the officers blew her off. They never even went out onto the deck. Another incident, they would hear stomping on the roof. But she said, I think later, that she never actually heard stomping on the roof. I don't know. There also was a time they thought they heard someone in the attic above them. They were so scared they did not want to look. The next day, they looked up in the attic, and they could see that someone had smashed a hole to get inside. I mean, where did they get inside from, though? I mean, it's crazy. I don't understand that. Ah, man, I keep getting messages and messages and messages. I just want to keep going here. They would hear stomping on the roof. There also was a time they thought they heard someone in the attic above them. There were so many more incidents since the police were not taking them seriously. Rather than call the police every time, David started to email the police every single time there was a weird incident. Let's see, the week headed up to the murder of Jonathan David Clark. A week before the murder, Ashley was outside on her deck and David was already in bed. She witnessed someone trying to steal something from a truck parked out across the street on the North L Street. I wonder if that was that camper. There was a motorhome. Yeah, there it is. There was a motorhome parked in front of the truck. Okay, so the motorhome is about kind of where this camera is right here. Motorhome is right there, and then there's a truck behind it. The people inside the motorhome came out and saw the perpetrator trying to steal, and they asked or yelled, "What the hell?" And Ashley heard the perpetrator's voice answer, "Oh, sorry, man." She believes this person was Meth Creep. But I mean, so Meth Creep followed you all the way from the other apartment complex? I mean, that seems crazy. Or does this guy just kind of walk all over the place? Although he was skinnier or wearing less layers. She's not positive, as the apartment complex had to have been having multiple instances of car break-ins. She can't quite describe the voice. His voice sounded young, not a super deep, with no detected accent, Mexican or otherwise. He was dressed in all black from head to toe, the possible same person as Meth Creep, then took off running towards West Barton Avenue. The night before the murder, Ashley and David were sitting on their deck. They could tell someone had previously been out on the deck. They observed roof particles on the ground of the deck. Ashley had a gun on her. David said to her, "If you ever need to, rack the gun." She did not rack it then. David was just instructing her that she should do that if ever needed. They then observed a man at the bottom listening to them. Ashley could tell he had heard their conversation. She believes this man was Meth Creep. He was wearing all black, had no wig on, but he did have a mask on. Jeez, that sounds kind of like the other guy. She's not sure of what kind of mask. The man walked around their building and then came back around out to the front towards the sidewalk on North L Street. Once on the sidewalk, he proceeded to walk backwards in the direction towards West Central Avenue. While walking backwards, so he's walking backwards, like moonwalking almost, you know? The man walked around the building and then came back around to the front towards the sidewalk. Once on the sidewalk, he proceeded to walk backwards in the direction towards West Central Avenue. While walking backwards, he was watching Ashley and David. Jeez. August 19th. So that was the day before. The night of the murder, Ashley and David returned home around 10:30 from grocery shopping. They parked at the curb in front of their apartment on North L Street. When on the sidewalk, the murderer attacked David. He shot David several times. Ashley thinks 3 or 4 times. First time in the back, and then David turned around to attack the man and was shot. Hey, thanks up there to Wendy Van Rokel. Appreciate it. On the Facebook AI post, and it says 4 times, 2 times in the face, 1 in the chest, and 1 in the back. The murderer was skinny. He was about 5'9", and she thinks Mexican. Oh, so this is the description. The murderer was skinny. He was about 5'9". That sort of matches the stalker guy. And the L Street stalker. And she thinks Mexican. He wore all black clothing. He had a mask on, but the mask did not cover his eyes. She saw his eyes. He never spoke. The murderer ran off in the direction of West Barton Avenue. Let me see. Does that make sense? Hold on. Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, because that light goes the other way. No, that's this way. So the light that's on the that video has the person going this way. You know? So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think's going on in this video. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that somebody is moving. Like right, if you go back, I think it's right. Right here, I think. So that big bright light in the middle. Right there. They're heading to the right. No, that was the first time. In a second here. It looks like the shooting. And then, I mean, this almost makes total sense. It's like, he's over here and he's shooting, you know, he was shooting David, and then this other light is Ashley coming around right here. And then now this guy takes off. He passes that light, and then look, just look at these other lights on here. Dark makes that light dark. I'm talking about right here. He goes this direction. And then the other one right, now the really bright one, boom, gone. So the person went to the right there. So I think they went the other direction. But, you know, it's hard to remember something like that. Well, this is the one I'm reading your one from today though, Sonia. I'm reading the one that you gave me today. I don't have a second one. So you're saying, I mean, is it at the end of this one, or? I'm reading the one from today. I don't know if the edit didn't take place, or. After all this, Ashley has never been thoroughly interviewed by the police. Ashley thinks 3 or 4 times. Let me go back up here. We shot David several times. He was about 5'9". The murderer ran off in the direction of West Barton Avenue. After that, a man with a small dog arrived on the scene and tried to help David. The man, and it says the name, and then another man with 3 boys arrived on the scene. After all this, Ashley never has been thoroughly interviewed by the police. Only one time did they ask her a question, and it was about audio of the event, and that had been caught on the ring. You know, we just played it. They asked her if she said the name of anyone, and she said absolutely not. Yeah, so if she did say stop it, like a lot of you here, then she, you know, probably didn't say any names. Yeah, you can almost think you can hear David in there, but maybe she said David, but when they're asking if you said any names, she's thinking about some other name. The detectives on this case have given her little to no information, and she gave up because they wouldn't even answer her calls. She does not have a case number or any police documents because she's been told it's an ongoing investigation. Since the night of the murder, Ashley has not returned to that apartment on North L Street. She never stayed there again. Ashley mentioned that on Windscape apartment complex on North L had been many car break-ins. But you're saying she went the other direction? Sonia? Yeah. I think it's the other direction. I'm just analyzing the video here. Right? So I don't really know. I mean, but that seems likely, right? Like, if you go right to here, this is kind of the car. Let's go back in time when the car pulls up. So here comes the car. There's already, I think this is just light from this headlight hitting that. So there's the front of the car. And then I think then it pulls up, then it backs up again. Or maybe that's the back of the car. No, it's the front. And then it pulls forward. Right, and there's the back of the car. So you can see that that car is much larger than Kubi, if you're still there, than the camper across the street. Like, you got that to here, and then that's only over here, just to, you know, because it's further away. All right, so it's right here. This is the back of the vehicle, and then this right here is the headlight, right? So let's move it back to that portion again. So I'm just going to, the shooting starts right in this time frame. Okay, like there's shooting going on right in here. And it's weird how you can't see a flash of a muzzle or anything. It is playing forward right now. Right, so it looks like somebody passes in front of the front sort of brake lights, I guess. I don't know if you, for a second. And it looks like they went to the left, and then they came back. But look at right there. This is probably Ashley coming around from the other side of the car, right? Because here's the back of the car, here's the front of the car, and then she was on the other side of the car, she said. And then she's coming around. And then right now, that guy takes off, and you see him going right in front of that red light right here. He's standing right here when he's shooting. And then takes off, and now goes to the right, because see the other light? Let's do it really slow. Okay, so I'm going back again. Right now he's in front of the left part of the vehicle. Then you go forward, and boom. So we can even tell you, if I go to here, there's 30 frames a second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 19, 20, to 1, to 2, to 3, to 4. So about almost a second later, he passes whatever light that is now there. This is the front of the car. This is the back here. And then, let's go. So let me get to that part again. Right there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's when it passes that other little light that's on there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. 5, 67, 8, 9, 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 71, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so the person who's walking, that's 3 seconds later over here, so they're not walking like really fast, but that light on the very back of the car, watch, boom, right there. So they went, if you go backwards, watch how the light goes the other direction. I'm going backwards, and then boom. So somebody's moving from the front of the car past the back of the car and takes off. That's 100%. There isn't a chance that that isn't what's happening there. Somebody is moving from the front of the car on the sidewalk back to the back of the car and heading away. All right? And see, look, they left and there's no more coming back now. Why are you confused? Hey, thanks, Vibe Chick. Thank you for covering cases like these and being so detailed in your work. It doesn't go unnoticed. Well, thank you. Sometimes I feel like it does. but thanks anyways. Yeah, I mean, when I do these types of shows, for some reason the support isn't quite the same, but I appreciate it. Car cracked in. Riker is saying to flip the back. What? No, I'm not doing that. Why would I flip it? This isn't a selfie camera where everything's flipped. Are you saying the car, the front of the car? Yeah, I mean, this looks like maybe headlights over here, right? So maybe he pulled forward and then backed in. Okay, so this is the brake lights, and this is the headlight. Yeah, however you want to look at it. Okay, I mean, whatever it is, the car is right here. These are lights. So this is probably the headlight. Those are the brake lights, and it backed in. That's why it pulled up and then backed in. You know how you do that? That makes sense. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it doesn't really matter. It's, you know, the car length is from here to there, and at some point, a person, right at this moment, right after this, they go to the left first, and that's right. I think that's Ashley right there, coming around the front of the car. can't see anything else other than that. You see this little thing right here, whatever that light source is. And then now the person's taking off. And I'm wondering if that's like timed up. So hey, Ashley, if you're out there, I'm going to play this part right here. Let's see if it kind of matches a little bit with the audio.
Where's your phone? The David thing is there. Somebody call help! Somebody! Where's your phone? Where's your phone? Where's your phone? What the fuck?
So yeah, that sort of sounded like you ran, like maybe that's when he ran this way really quick.
What the fuck?
Oh, that running could be anybody though. I think this guy's walking away coldly, like slowly, and you know, it took 3 seconds to get from like here to there. You know, he's not like hustling.
Where's your phone? Where's your phone?
See, right now he's leaving right now.
Somebody call help! Somebody!
Oh.
Where's your phone?
See that? But right now, the person's leaving. Just look at it, watch it like this. Ashley comes around. Now watch. Here he goes. Boom. Right there. Yeah, maybe I could maybe I could put something on the screen. Here, I'll show you. Watch. File new. Hey, thanks, Donna Aldridge. I'll just put like a. Where is it? Let me see. Here, I'm just gonna put this. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a. I created a color map, but it didn't put it anywhere, so I don't know what happened there. New color, and so where is it? Maybe it puts it in the. I think that might be where it is, in here. No, see, it's crazy. Man, this is just not working here. It's crazy. I'm just trying to get one little picture. Maybe I'll just use one of. I'll just use one of them. All right, just to have something. It has nothing to do with anything. I'm going to use a picture of them in here. I mean, what I could do is just make it. I could crop it, just so it's him. You know, it has nothing. It's not him though. Okay, so just don't think it's him. I'm just trying to. I couldn't put just a bar in there. I'm gonna put a crop on there. Do the left, and then right. Well, actually, here I'll do something different here. Here. Yeah, that way I can just use this weird guy right here. I don't know what this will even look like anything, but I'm not trying to make it look like there's somebody walking around. I just wanted to show you, put the timing on here. So it's right there. Let me just see.
Where's your phone? The safest thing is somebody call help! Somebody! Where's your phone?
Yeah.
Where's your phone?
I mean, so the person goes right along. I mean, I'm trying to make it so visually you can see. If you look at the lights below. Hold on. Yeah, so that one, yeah, it's right there on top, below that one. Then right below that one. So maybe it's got to go a little bit quicker to start. Like, okay, right there. Let's try to line it up.
The safest thing is somebody call help! Somebody! Where's
Yeah.
your phone?
And that's exactly the, and then I'll just make it go off the screen more. Yeah, something like that. See, that's right where the lights are, see?
The safest thing is somebody call help! Somebody! Where's your phone? Where's your phone? Where's your phone?
And they never came back. See? So if you can't visually see the lights, there you go. That's the positioning of a person right at that time, but obviously it's below there. I'm putting it above so it matches when the lights turn off. See that?
The safest thing is somebody call help! Somebody! Where's your phone?
There you go. He's swearing at someone with a gun. Yeah, see, it seems like it does have a feeling like Ashley, the way she didn't, or not, actually I feel more like Jonathan knew the person, not Ashley. You know, because Jonathan's saying, you know, like, psycho, F you psycho, like as if he knows who the psycho is. So is this the person? But here's the thing, does he know the person, or is he saying that because he's assuming, rightfully so, that it's the person that's walking around upstairs, you know, on their camera multiple times? What do you think? That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I said that. Yeah, so if you go back, we could go like this, watch. So it almost like he's standing right by the brake over here, this other guy, because that's not Ashley. And then she comes around the car, and then he's still standing there, like he's right here. And she goes to David or whatever. I mean, maybe he's right in that spot. And then this person takes off now, right there. Anyways, anybody else want to call in? I guess Ashley is a no-show. I told her exactly when I'd be on and when, and I guess she decided not to. Doesn't imply anything, it just probably she didn't want to do it. I would be more focusing on the stalkers that are there this time. I think they were kind of paranoid, though. Hello, this is Gray.
What's going on, Gray?
Hey, it's Scouting Dude. What's going on?
The email that the Ashley person sent you.
Yeah, the one at the beginning of the show. Yeah, one
I call complete and total BS.
I don't know. Like what part?
The entire thing. Being inside of her house or the apartment and hearing somebody in the car outside of her house rack the gun. I have not heard. It sounds like a horrible, horrible Chad Daybell true crime novel.
Well, maybe that's what the guy. Maybe he said, "Hey, I heard a rack," and so she's saying that. But I think the rest of it sounds pretty reasonable. Yeah.
Nowhere in the history of the United States Marine Corps has there ever been a Marine that has been too afraid to go check out a noise in his own fucking house. That woman is full of shit.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's a little different. I mean, maybe he's been a paranoid person for a long time.
Maybe she made him that way.
I don't know how long he was in the military.
Everything that email, that way that lady talks, is exactly how my first wife talked when she was trying to explain me vandalizing her house or whatever she was accusing me of while being on the complete other side of the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I smelled the panda bear all over this.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
It's weird.
His
it's weird to me
friends or family might need to know if he had the survivor benefit plan.
Well, see, when I listened to it, I mean, there was a life insurance policy. We talked about that at the other show. But to me, it seems like, when you listen to it, it sounds like she's present there and she's yelling and, I mean, maybe you don't like the story, but there's no implication at all that she's involved just because you didn't like the story.
If they won't give the wife any copies of any police report and stating that it's
this active investigation
due to an open investigation, it's because she's the one being investigated.
I don't know. I've heard that a million times by other people that I've worked with. They can't get anything. Like even in the Mercedes Vega case, they won't give them anything. And they won't communicate with them. They're not being investigated, right?
But what I was getting at with the survivor benefit plan, that isn't life insurance. That's through the military. If you've done so much time in it, if I was to die and I didn't get that taken away from my ex-wife, she would get half of my pay no matter what, 55% of my pay for the rest of her life until she got remarried. And that's what those dudes need to look into if he's got the survivor benefit plan.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't feel the same way. Like I don't think she's. I mean, the part that's. I don't know. I'm not getting the vibe like she's part of some conspiracy. I thought what was weird was her ex-boyfriend. He starts calling her right away, and his dad is at the crime scene putting his body into a white vehicle, like a white van, you know?
If all of that is correct, her cameras that she had would be able to prove 100% of all of it.
What do you mean, the cameras?
These are the only 2 footages being released. She said earlier about the in the email that the stalker guy was hopping their back fence and onto their porch.
Yeah, well, they don't have
they
video
knew
of that stuff. They just saw them. I mean, maybe there was one video, but the other, you know, like they have multiple videos of a guy walking up and down their stairs, right? You saw that person on the videos. But
Yep.
apparently he has some more on his phone, but she can't get his phone. You know, like, I don't think there's all this video that she's hiding from people.
Ring has an online account. When you have a Ring doorbell,
That's if you
register
pay,
it, all of your stuff gets uploaded automatically.
Well, if you pay for that, you know, what is it? To have it put out there on the cloud, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see all the rest of the videos. I just don't. I'm not feeling like. I mean, maybe you don't believe a lot of the story, but I actually believed a lot of the way the story was. There's probably some parts though that, you know, maybe you didn't believe, but I mean, some of it just sounded like she was genuinely. I mean, if she was a conspiracy with her ex-boyfriend, why would she actually literally admit that they saw each other again, and also his dad was there, you know, cleaning, you know, taking his body in a white van, you know?
Okay, riddle me this, Gray.
Yeah.
Why would somebody who's in a relationship with a Marine who carries a gun on her hip have to be told right the night before he gets murdered, hey, make sure you load your gun?
Well, she's probably, they've only known each other or been married for 11 months, and maybe she's not a shooter. Like, she just, like, you know. Like day
two with Admiral. I made sure she knew how to use a firearm.
Okay, well, you're, you know.
Day 2.
But I'm not sure how, you're a different kind of Marine than this guy was. It doesn't sound like he was in too long. Like, you were like multiple deployments, like you're, you know, hard. Even when you came over here, you were showing me how to walk
the Marine Corps, they pride themselves in the lowliest little pack clerk, supply, doctor, whatever. Every single Marine is a trigger puller, and every single Marine's first duty is to put bodies in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that this person's saying, every fiber of my being, I am shaking that the way that whole email read, it sounds like every bullshit excuse from one of my dude's wives on when they did something or tried to kill their husband.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Well, but let's just, we don't know how long he was even in there. I mean, he might not have been in there long at all, it sounded like.
But there's way too many details. Way too many details. In the entire email, his mask was slightly lowered, and I looked into his eyes, but she don't know the person.
She saw his eyes. My thing is this. If she put no details, you know what you'd say? How come she doesn't have any details? See, the thing is, everybody does all this stuff like that. Like, Lisa Valenzuela wants to be like, yeah, you know, over and over and over again at everything that you're saying. But I don't agree. I don't agree at all. I think she's just explaining it because I asked her, you know what I said before I emailed her? I said, she sent me one email, it didn't really have a lot of detail, and then she went on to something else, and I said, listen, I need you to explain this whole thing as much detail as possible. And that's what she sent back. So maybe it's my fault that it had too many details for you. You know?
Well,
I told her to do that.
It's just the whole story, and I could care less if she did do it or didn't do it. All I want to know is who did it, and they need to pay. I don't care how it comes out. Whatever they do, those fucking cops need to do their damn job.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, I don't know the answer, like if she has something to do with it or not. But I don't see it now, you know, like I don't see anything directly related, but you know, who the hell knows? You know, I mean, maybe you're onto something. I can't say that.
What's funny is you have everybody has their true crime story when they decided that they were going to be all in.
Mm-hmm.
This one's it for me.
Oh, come on, really? This is the one.
Oh yes. That email. in my brain that none of this makes no sense
And the
at
thing
all.
is
Not one
all
bit
these
of it.
things, but here's the thing, all these things are really, when you say, oh, there's all these things, like Zozo's up there trying to sell, you know, she's being wishy-washy now, trying to sell your story, like, oh my God, I mean, all these things too, how weird. And now she's planning that information to throw it off onto the, I mean, give me a break. He told people about all these things. So it's not just her saying this. And there's a neighbor that saw all these things too, that I'm going to be reading here in a minute. All right? This isn't something where, like, there's just all this big fake story that somebody invented. You know?
My ex-wife, she hired people to do that stuff to me.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
But I hope she's not involved. But those cops, they need to get off their ass and they need to start doing something. Hopefully they're really close to arresting somebody like dude said last night. And hopefully, but I'll let you go on that. I'm not on the good side of things, I guess, on this one.
Well,
we'll
no, I
find out.
don't have a side. I just want to get, I just don't see it, you know? Like, this is just like these other cases. Everybody starts, because they didn't say something the way you wanted them to say something, then they become guilty. It's just like in the, you know, Madeline Soto case. It's just like in the Sebastian Rogers case. All this stuff.
Well, like somebody said earlier about the crying. I don't care if somebody cries or doesn't cry, unless it's like weird, like the Soto dude. That dude crying, as much as he was crying, that was fucking creepy. But I don't care about her initial reactions. It's everything that was stated and how it was stated. I don't know. I guess.
Well,
it was
maybe if she was, maybe.
composed.
But here's the thing: is what if it was her here telling the same story? Maybe it would have sounded different in your brain, you know. But instead, it's just I have this computer robotic voice reading it, you know. So maybe that causes a problem too, you know. So that's why she needs to call in and tell the story, you know, because that could be part of it, right?
Could be, but that's my piece, and I won't bring it up again. So,
well, she's definitely probably not going to call in now. I can tell you that.
well, I'm sorry, but everybody, you know where I stand. So if you're making comments like or whatever, you already know where I stand. So you don't need me to agree with anybody or disagree. You
got all these little like I don't know what you call them. They try to. I agree with Scout. Who cares if you agree with Scout? You know, it's like you guys act like it's some kind of weird competition or something. You guys are like embarrassing. It's weird. So anyways, yeah, great. I don't know. You know, I have no idea. I can't tell. You know, she seems like she's trying to open up now and talk to people, and I asked her to give as many details as possible, but, and that's what she did. You know, I'm sure she could have even gotten more detail, like if she'd said, yeah, he had the glistening in his eye. You know, all she said was he had his mask pulled down, you could see his eyes. The part about how he looked scared, like, God, what the hell did I just do? That's kind of weird. Like, I don't know how you would notice that without the rest of the face to see it. You can't really see that in somebody's eyes, right? You need to have the forehead and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah.
No, I guess too many unanswered questions. But I'm going to go back to listening mode because I'm pacing. I'm all antsy and jittery on this one. So I'll be listening. I'm not going to be in the chat for the rest of the night.
All right. Okay.
All right, have a good night.
All right, Scout and Dude. Wow, look at all that. I agree with Scout. I want to be cool. Yeah. Let's see. It would be interesting to see what her statement to the... Well, they've never actually interviewed her other than to ask, did you say any names on there? All right. I do, Memphis Life. I really do. And you'll never be commenting again. All right. Let's see. See, my thing is, I don't know what the reality is, but I'm trying to, I don't want people to be, I played that thing because I wanted you guys to hear more factual information in the case from her voice, not free. This is exactly the same shit that happens in the Sebastian Rogers case. The parents came out, they tried to talk to people, and instead of you guys listening to what they're actually saying and asking really literal questions about what's going on, you then start twisting and looking at everything that they say and turn it into something much bigger without there being any evidence really of anything. Okay? There isn't anything right now. Yeah, but you don't need to type it in. You just agree. I mean, who cares if I get... It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. People, it's just wild. You know? Wild stuff. Yeah. Demanding police accountability. Well, what I hope is coming out of all this is that Ashley starts a dialogue with some of the family members, and they can all start working stuff out. Maybe it'll lead to something. We don't know. We don't know. And yes, I'm having a dirty scout in the Broken Scout's honor. Oh, jeez. Right. Yeah, I just get so tired of everybody jumping on a bandwagon like so fast. You know, it's like, how do we know anything? I mean, she's 22 years old too, right, you guys? She isn't like, at the time was probably 21. She's not experienced in life. She's kind of a, you know, immature a little bit. I don't know. I have a hard time just throwing somebody on. There's stuff that you look at and you go, wow, that's kind of weird. I mean, she didn't seem like she was scared to be shot herself. She said she tried to run to go, maybe thought of going to get a gun, but I don't remember seeing, you can't really, I don't know how somebody could have done that in that small amount of time that's in there. You know, there's just little things, but, you know, people's memory in a stressful situation like that isn't the greatest. Yeah. I've never heard of putting olives in. I know. It is. It's amazing. When the Broken Scout, or Scouting Dude, is, I like to call him that. I don't like the, you know. He goes, try this. And I put the green olives in there and a little salt. Man, it's the best beer I've ever had in my life. It's amazing. I just don't like it when you guys do that. It sort of feels like it's like there's a competition and you're building sides or something. It's ridiculous. Just listen to what's being talked about, you know. It's kind of childish, actually. Let's see. I think it was like 10:30 at night. I don't know what that is, Lisluth. I have no idea what you're talking about. Matt, sounds familiar, the name, but we haven't talked about that one in a while. Tomato juice, too? No, I'm not showing the ex-boyfriend on here. I've already told you that I'm not putting his face on the show here. Well, anybody else? You're out there, Ashley? Call into the show. Probably not likely now, given the fact that a bunch of wackos had to keep agreeing in the chat. No, now she knows that all these people, you know, yeah, forget it. I don't know this one. Who is... Oh, that guy? The truck driver. Oh, yeah. Where was he found? Just kind of way up in the... Yeah, that trucker from Wall Lake, Iowa. He left his home in Wall Lake around 7 p.m. Where was he found, though? After months of searching, a family member says the body of missing Sac County, Iowa man David Schultz has been found. All right. I know, it's just, I'd rather have you guys, let's kind of keep digging into the case. What you do when you do this stuff, we turn into the JLR channel, and people don't want to ever communicate again because everybody's like, oh yeah, I think they do. Oh yeah, I agree, they're guilty, I'm guilty. And it just really sucks, you guys. It does. I have no idea. You know, there's things that are interesting and all that stuff, but when all of you guys start jumping on a bandwagon like that, I mean, that's okay, like somebody has an opinion, like, you know, Scout and Dude calls in and has an opinion, but what I don't want is like everybody else trying to jump in and have like a team, and then they're going to read the comments and go, God, why the hell would I want to go on there? Half his people over there think that it's wild. I don't know, Gina. His dad's a detective, so probably not. I know I've explained this 100 times to you guys, but here we go again. No, it's not just a discussion, Zozo. It's people literally backing on one team of like, oh yeah, she did it. Oh yeah, I totally agree. This is all fake and phony and yeah, that's what it is. It's not just having a discussion. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll just interview her on the side, but you know what? I wouldn't even want to play the damn thing. You know, that's the thing. If I played it, the people who think she has something to do with it will twist it around and turn it into something that it isn't. Okay? So why would I even want to play the damn thing? I thought we were sort of above this kind of stuff. Sucks. Jesus. You know. All right, I'm gonna go over the neighbors. So this might be kind of interesting here. I guess we're just like the rest of them. That sucks. Jesus. No, Cindy, that's not what it is, Cindy. It's you jumping in and saying, oh, I think they're guilty. It's okay to discuss it. That's not what was going on, Cindy. See, you didn't listen again, Cindy. You do the same thing all the time. It's like a child. It just never grows up. All right, so we're going to have to put you on timeout. Maybe you can come back some other time. Have a good day. All right. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Her email sounded like no matter what she said to clear up what happened. Her email sounded like no matter what she's ready to clear up what happened. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like she wants to get out there and start communicating with the family. That one of them was the one that was in the Facebook group itself. And then she sent this long email explaining stuff, but she was a little bit bummed. Like the first email she sent just barely described something. And then she went right into, man, when I was listening to you guys on the show, it sounded like you guys were accusing me of something. You know, and then I go, listen. I don't know anything about what's going on. I just want to get the details of the case. And then she took the time to write a really long email describing the night, etc., and other times before. So I don't know. I didn't get the feeling like she was trying to hide something. Right. I think the X is the one that is kind of that's a weird situation. That right after, so you would think, wow, is it some ex of the girlfriend that did this? And then right after David dies, the ex shows up. Don't you think that's a little weird? I don't care. You guys, listen, if you guys don't want to send me super chats because of the way I feel right here, then don't send them in. Good old Natalie came in, and you wonder why you don't get donations and losing subs. I'm not losing subs at all. I'm gaining subs every single day. Okay, Natalie, so you're incorrect. But if you guys don't want to send me because I get frustrated with this, then that's fine. I don't care, okay? It's ridiculous. I want to have a place where we talk about and discuss the cases, but we don't just start immediately In one like this, there are cases where it's obvious, right? Like Stephen Stearns. Of course he had something to do with it, right? This isn't one of those ones. This is one that's, we hardly have any information. It is sort of a case where we're just starting to get to know, and to have everybody jumping on the side of something being crazy, somebody being involved in a murder, it sucks. I don't like it at all. You don't have any idea here at all, you guys. And like I said, I didn't mind that Broken Scout called up and said that, but what I didn't like was everybody else going, yeah, ooh. And then you realize, wow, just by a quick little conversation like that, so many other people just immediately threw somebody under the bus who had absolutely, there's no reason to do it. And thanks again to Broken Scout and Christy and Kim Clark. All right. And I love all of you guys. You guys are great, but that was a little bit disappointing. All right. But morons that just show up like the troll up there, Natalie, forget it. Okay. Yeah. And you wonder why. Hey. I've gained thousands and thousands of subs lately. All right. This is just a frustrating moment because I'm trying to do this where I'm able to communicate with people to try to get the facts of a case, and you're making it really tough here. Okay. I want this to be a safe place where people can come in and have a conversation, and if things lead in a certain direction, great. But there was really nothing in that email that I had her give me in a detailed form that I played for you guys with using text to speech that should make you go, oh wow, except for the part about the boyfriend who shows up almost immediately, and his father is a guy that could easily help cover up the case because he was there at the scene that night. That's a little weird. And nobody said we can't discuss the case. Okay? That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing at all. Hello, this is Gray.
Yo, how you doing, Gray? It's Brian, brother.
It's Brian. What's going on, Brian? Hopefully you've been watching the show, so you're going to be talking about the case.
I just started watching the channel like 5 minutes ago.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go again.
And hearing some of these trolls or weak or woke or weasel, I call them real weasels. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
There's too many of them. They got to be checked. Like, this country, these college can't, I don't know. Wrong direction. Are they teaching kids in school? I don't know what they're teaching them, but they ain't teaching them how to read and write and do basic math and stuff like that. It's a joke, man. It really is.
Right. Oh, well.
Yeah, but I just respect you, how you do your channel. You do it the right way.
Well, I try to, but it's hard to.
You stand on your shit, your character, exactly. Like, and you're not greedy. Like, you give money to charity. I respect that. Like I said, that's old school. Like, we need more people like that in this world. Like, dude, there's too many little weak, little soft, little weasels. And it's not gonna work. I feel bad for the future. I really do.
I bet you Scout and Dude. I bet Scout and Dude likes. I bet Scout and Dude likes everything that you say.
I'm just a realist.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, so this case, who killed Jonathan David Clark? Yeah, I'll just finish listening to it. I'll get to the. I just started watching, but yeah, I just wanted to call and say what's up. Yeah, 'cause I know nothing about this case. I just started watching. What's this part 2? So there was part 1. Yeah, I didn't see that either.
Yeah. So how have you been doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Same stuff, different day, just like everybody else. Yeah. That's life. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah. Well, we're just kind of trying to work through, this case.
Yeah, I just like the way you're doing. Like I miss when you used to. I like the old ones, the old newspaper articles. I love that. That's serious. I just find it interesting because that's when the facts are the best, and that's when cops and people. It just seemed like more people had common sense back in the day, in my opinion. Anyway, that's just me.
Well, that's cool.
We need to get back to a little bit of.
But anyways, thanks for.
Need to get back to the basics.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm about to read this document here, but I appreciate you calling in, Brian, and Making me feel a little
and
bit
I
better.
appreciate what you and the freaks do. Like I said, you guys do it the right way, making a difference, donating to these charities. That's doing a
Yeah, I
good
give
thing.
quite a big chunk, like 33% of
Yeah.
the gross income.
Fuck.
It's pretty good.
Who else? Nobody else does that. Who else does that?
Yeah.
I don't know nobody. Do you?
Yeah.
No other channel does that. Exactly. And like I said, like
Right.
agree. Like people that aren't I respect that.
Right.
Need more people like that. If more
Yeah.
people did that on YouTube, like these programs, they would have more money, and they're doing good things, like Texas X Research,
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
Rain, all that stuff. That's all good stuff. That DNA fund
Yeah.
making a difference.
Making a difference.
Being
Making a
selfless
difference.
and not selfish, because we become a selfish society. We need more selfless people.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's not always about. It don't always got to be about you, snowflakes. Say nah. All right, I'll let you go. Have a good night.
Man. Have a good one. Have a good one.
All right,
Thanks,
later.
Brian. See ya. Yeah, but yeah. I like what he says most. Yeah, like. Yeah, I think he's on the money there, but sometimes it's like, ooh, gets intense right there when you're trying to go over something else. Too late last night and got to get to bed. Hey, Riker. Let's see. I was wanting to get a copy. If you ever get the copy of the videos from the mother, well, I guess the ex-girlfriend that's the mother of David's 17-year-old. That'd be cool to get that. And thank you up there to Simply Me and Kim Clark and the Broken Scout and Christy. There you go. See, I'm not trying to squash conversation. I don't mind if you're in there going, wow, I didn't like that one part where she said this and that. Yeah, well, that's great. But when you guys all jump in and start talking about, oh yeah, this is all just total crap and it's all fake, that means you're implying that they're sort of involved somehow. And like fully. Let's be a little bit more sort of discerning. Gosh, Gray, if I wanted to be lectured, I'd go somewhere. Well, you know what? This is my channel. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do something different. I want to get information. Oh, okay. Those are those ones? Okay, I did see those. The guy with the dreadlocks and stuff, right? Yeah. All right. So anyways, let me read the neighbor's information, okay? Is that okay? All right. And, I'm sorry if I offended you at all, but I don't care, okay? Because this is how I think here. So if it bugged you that I said, hey, that's bullshit, you guys, what you're doing, and it made you feel bad, I'm sorry you felt bad, but it's just too bad, I'm telling you the reality here. I want somebody to be able to call in here and be able to tell their story and feel like, oh, wow, those guys are reasonable over there. All right, so anyways, thanks. Heather Ann just gifted a membership to Dana O'Neill Studer. And I think I'm going to give some memberships out now. I did do the earlier show, but let's see. But yeah, we want to just keep trying to work through this one, Riker. So I might actually, if we get more information and can sort of, get other people dialed in, it'd be great to maybe at that point I can get like Court TV, and those guys might be interested in, because there's enough elements like the videos, the stalkers, what happened, the audio they might play. I don't know if they would or not, but they could play it. And, you get that out there. And look at that. I think I've got 200 subs today, so I guess I'm just doing bad. It's okay. It's okay to jump. All I'm saying is, I don't mind in your mind if you think, oh my God, this person did it, and you want to discuss various points. Especially when it's a new case and we're trying to get people to communicate. To sit there and just be, that's where it gets dicey, because if they're sitting here watching and they're looking in there and they're like, oh my God, look at this. I mean, you understand what I'm saying, right? We don't know what kind of bullet it was. We already said that. They don't have any reports of any kind. Well, it could be anything. Here's a plot twist, Zozo. What if it was an alien's gun? You know, some alien from Zeta Minor. Jeez. Yeah, it was Mork. He probably went nanu nanu, you know? Yeah, Mork from Ork Gizba. You remember that? How stupid was that? The whole show, Mork and Mindy, was jumping the shark. The entire show. There was never an episode that wasn't... How they won't say kind of ammo. Well, there's no information on this case, you guys. There's none. There was never even any news articles. You want to? I'll show it to you. Watch this. Where is it? I have. Oh, there it is. This is it. On Saturday night at approximately 10:30 p.m., Lompoc police responded to the 1300 block of North L Street for a reported shooting. Responding officers found 34-year-old Jonathan David Clark with gunshot wounds and immediately began providing life-saving measures until fire department personnel and paramedics arrived, but he was declared dead. At the scene, according to Detective Sergeant Magdalene of the Lompoc Police Department. Detectives with assistance from Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Crime Lab responded to the scene and took over the investigation. A single individual was seen fleeing the area, and anyone with surveillance video in the area or with information about the shooting is asked to contact the Lompoc Police Department. The investigation is ongoing. That's the only thing that was ever that I saw anywhere. Anyways, wait, doesn't it work right here? I keep doing the same thing over and over again. That's the definition of insanity. When you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And here we go. Skeet, welcome Skeet, welcome Karen Bennett, welcome Christy Girl, welcome Kristen Ann, and welcome T. Renee S. to the freaks. Welcome to the Freak Zone. Yeah. All right, here's the neighbor. Neighbor and her daughter lived in the upstairs apartment directly across from Ashley and David. So that would mean looking at the street view here. We go down there. Looking at the street view. They lived in this apartment right here. And then if you look at the video over here and go back to this, that's right there, see? There's the walkway across between them, and that's the apartment there. Right, so back to here, there it is right over there, there's the walkway. Hopefully that all makes sense. Oh, you got hit in the head. What do you mean, where was his wound located? We've gone over that like 700 times. Like 2 times in the head, the back. 60. Anyways, it says neighbors and her daughter lived in the upstairs apartment directly across from Ashley and David. The apartment with the wreath on the door. They were not just neighbors, but more friendly neighbors. More than hi, bye. They were watching out for each other, still Facebook friends. Both door cameras were bought by the Clarks. They were up and running shortly after the Clarks moved in. Neighbors moved out of her apartment 2 months prior to the murder on June 14th. So they had already moved out, 2023. All of her door camera videos were lost when they moved. The camera did not save the videos. Neighbor moved out of her apartment because of all the stalking events. And this is Sonia typing all this stuff in for us. So thank you, Sonia, out there. Neighbors moved out of the apartment because of all the stalking events that had been happening. She and her daughter were extremely scared. The new neighbors that moved in were a military couple. She believes that couple lived there at the time of the murder. Neighbor no longer communicates with Ashley. Last time they spoke was at David's memorial service. Let's see. Neighbor said all their stalker... You know, I can tell you one thing, too. Like, I remember, again, I can only relate it to... Like, after my brother died, you know, I had these certain friends. That's when I was friends with that Ty Burrell guy. But I remember just going into the shell and... You know, I didn't really even talk to... I mean, it was hard to even hang out with anybody. I was just sort of like a zombie walking around. So a lot of the friends that I was always hanging around with, I sort of, I don't know, just kind of lost them of being as close because I wasn't around. I just sort of would just sit around and think. It's kind of a freaky time. So I think that could be what's going on here, right? I mean, and so I have friends that were best friends with my brother, and they were like that. So I would imagine a spouse would be similar. Regarding stalker incident, neighbors said all their stalker sightings are of the same person seen on their door cameras. The one with the weird wig and clog-looking shoes. Never did she or her daughter see any perp that resembled the Third Street stalker. That's the guy with the dreadlocks. I don't think that person is related. The one that had the weird dreadlock. The stalker was always on foot. Anytime she witnessed the stalker leaving, he would go towards West Barton. So in those cases, he went to West Barton, but I think he's walking away in the other direction in the video. Because of this, neighbor has a gut feeling that the stalker lived close by. Stalker was a white male with shoulder-length, wavy hair, no wig, big brown eyes, close set and downturned, and like eyes with no soul. I don't think they're close set. I think they're far apart. November 2022, 2 months after the Clarks moved in, neighbor's daughter saw the stalker 3 different times in one day. No camera footage. He was wearing a beanie, black jeans, black jean jacket, black jeans, black shoes, boots, no gloves, COVID-styled mask, the first and second times. First sighting, no camera footage, early evening. They had unloaded groceries, and then daughter went to the gym at 4:30 p.m. When daughter was walking home, she saw him pacing back and forth across the street. Second sighting, no camera footage, evening time. Then daughter went upstairs, and when she was up on her balcony, see, this is the neighbor's point of view, right? She looked down, and the stalker was at the corner bottom balcony near the bottom of the stairs. She made eye contact with him. So I guess there's a picture down here. Like there's, I don't know if you can see that, but you know, that's crazy. So that's him at David's door there. See, because the stairs are coming up on this side, and right down there is basically where the shooting took place in that video there. That's crazy, because if they had still lived there with that camera, you'd probably, you might have even seen something. Yeah. Are you guys finding this interesting at all? Or was it just all about, okay, we can't sit there and... Okay. All right, at least you guys think it's interesting. But let's try to like really kind of... I mean, I don't think we're ever going to get to hear from Ashley at this point, but you know, that's too bad. Maybe somebody else will get to... Maybe Sonia can talk to her again sometime. And third sighting, no camera footage. Evening time around 10:30 p.m. Daughter and cousin. So 10:30 is about the time he was shot too, right? So that's kind of interesting. Daughter and cousin sitting in living room. Let's see. Living room with backs to window. Neighbors sitting facing the window. The window faced the Clark's apartment. Neighbor thought she saw a shadow and she was thinking maybe Ashley or David were home. But when she looked, she saw a black shadow against the Clark's door. The girls turned around and the daughter said, "That's the guy." They all screamed and ran to the back balcony. They were yelling, "Get away, you weirdo! Don't come back here." Stalker ran off. Then they went to David's door to tell him what was happening. Yes, this is so creepy. It's just, it's like a... See, this isn't her telling this part here, you guys. See, doesn't this here give Ashley a little bit more credibility just by listening? This isn't her. This is the neighbor that saw the same shit. It's weird. This is weird stuff that was going on. It isn't just like, oh, Ashley has some weird ass stories to tell. This is like another person that saw the same damn thing over a long period of time. So as they all screamed and ran to the back balcony. They were yelling, "Get away, you weirdo! Don't come back here." Stalker ran off. Then they went to David's door to tell him what was happening. They think the perpetrator was trying to break in, pick the lock. David said they saved his life. The perpetrator could have gone in since David was wearing headphones. Oh, whoa. They all tried to call 911 and nobody's cell phone worked. That was a weird thing. They actually thought maybe he was using a jamming device. Not one person's cell phone worked. The TV were out in both upstairs apartments as well. They all didn't work for 5 minutes. They wondered if a route blocker was being used. Neighbors truly think the stalker intended to kill David this night. Wow. That is freaking nuts right there. April 5th. And by the way, you guys, if you're still out there, we're having a massive lull again. If you want to help support the channel, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Despite my crankiness, which is accurately placed as well. So thank you very much. April 5th, 2023 at 11:59 a.m. 911 called. So that was April, 4 months prior. The laundromat incident. There is camera footage. This is the night you see the police at the neighbor's door. Okay, so that's in this video right there, this one, right? This is the night you see the police at the neighbor's door. Neighbor and her sister went to wash clothes. They went to the furthest laundry facility in the complex. About 1 hour into washing, drying, they saw a shadow walk by. The Clarks were not home. Daughter stayed at home with her cousin. They saw the tall stalker walk by the window and noticed he was wearing the wig this time. So that's that weird, crazy wig. I mean, if you look at in this video right here, the first one is the. Let me get back. See, like, look at that's just a wig right there. See how that's just the crazy hair, and he's got just a wild mask on his face. Oh, you can't see it. Let me get rid of my. Oh, get that phone number off the screen there. Make it bigger. So see that? See, his eyes are really wide apart. They're not close together. But see, he's got a wig and eyes really far apart. Yeah, it's 100% a wig and a mask, and that's why it's hard. He's got a Champion hoodie on. Let's see. There is camera footage. This is the neighbor you see in the police neighbor at neighbors next door. Neighbor and her sister went to wash clothes. We went through that part. They saw the tall stalker walk by the window and noticed he was wearing the wig this time. He had a gun. Oh, wow. They ducked and called 911 plus neighbor's brother. That's crazy. He had a gun on, huh? He was wearing a wig this time. He had a gun. They ducked and called 911 plus neighbor's brother. So who are you referring to in this one? Neighbor and her sister went to wash clothes. They went to the furthest laundry facility in the complex. About 1 hour into washing, drying, they saw a shadow walk by. The Clarks were not home. Daughter stayed at home with her cousin. Okay, they saw the tall stalker walk by the window and noticed he was wearing the wig at this time. He had a gun. They ducked and called, the neighbor's brother. They all came. That was April 5th. And also April 5th, the night of the attack, break-in, there was a vacant apartment next to David's that shared attic space. Hey, thank you, Bridget Bauman. Been missing in action. Don't know case, but love your crankiness. That's when I started watching, just by chance. This sounds bizarre and creepy. Well, good. At least there's somebody out there that likes my personality. I'm thinking of becoming Peter Brady. I was thinking of doing Humphrey Bogart, Pork chops and applesauce, see? Hey, Alice, what are we having for dinner? Well, Peter, we're having pork chops and applesauce. So that's pork chops and applesauce, see? Oh, God. Wow, that was embarrassing. And and there's people in here that knew exactly the episode that I'm talking about. They've seen it. Right, Bridget Bauman? Right. I don't know, Gray. You're mean. Yeah, they know who the X is, Lisa. Every one of them knows who the X is. Yeah, it's not as bad as Lizard Eye. You got that right. The night of the attack, the attic. So here it is. So the same night, the night of the attic break-in. So it's the same night as April 5th. There was a vacant apartment next to David's. So, okay, now we can look at it differently here. So let's go back this direction. And apparently, this one right here was vacant. And this is David's right here. All right. And you know what's crazy about this, you guys? This street view, guess when the street view is? April 2023. Isn't that wild? I mean, this is like the same time frame where there's somebody. What are you typing that in for, Zozo? I don't get it. I took it off because I was reading something. David, okay, so it says the neighbor is in the front left apartment. Yeah, we know. David, the front right. Then back right is the one that shares the attic space. Right. Maybe the stalker got in through there. Yeah, of course. Yeah. April 19th, 2023. The tape on David's door incident caught on camera. Also, neighbor has a screenshot of the back of... Yeah, you know what's weird? It's like, God, doesn't it seem like you could just walk around and see if you can find these people walking around on the street if you have the same... Oh, the neighbor's in there. Okay, you didn't say that. After April 19th... Well, go ahead. If you want to call in right now, go ahead and call in. I'll read this later if you want to call in. But after April 19th, but... Well, I don't have... yeah, I do have Skype still open. Let me start it over again now. So, hold on. Sometimes it doesn't work after... Alright, so now call Skype. Maybe it'll work now. Right now. Well, you didn't say the neighbor was in the chat. You just started... I was in, you know... Let me know. Hey, Gray, the neighbor's in there. If you want to call, and then I put the number back up on the screen. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff about David. I mean, I got an email from somebody today that was like, you know, it was sort of weird. Hello. Is this
Hey, Greg. It's Kim.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you doing?
Well, not too bad. I was just...
Awesome.
So, did you have something that you were thinking of saying when you wanted to call in?
I was actually messaging the neighbor, Desiree, and I said, hey, if I call in, can we patch you in and have a little conversation together?
Oh, yeah.
If that's as like a little support system for her.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you
so
have her
if
number?
she calls, can you...
Oh.
What was that?
Oh, you're going to...
Or how does it work?
Well, she could try calling. I could try it. I don't know. I think there might be a way you can add them in. Let me see. Have her do it.
Let me see. Okay. Let me see. Doesn't answer.
I was getting... I'm talking to the chat. I was getting near the bottom of the Dirty Scout there. I was trying to get some of these olives at the bottom. They're pretty good. All right.
I love the green olives.
Yeah, they're good. But we have a guy named Scout here who said that you drink a beer, you put like 3 or 4 green olives in the beer, and then you put a little bit of salt, and it's so good. It's like the greatest. I mean, I don't even like beer that much, but now I do. Anyways, was she going to try calling the number, or she could call you and you could put her on your call, I guess.
Let's see. Try. I sent her the number.
Let me see. After April 19th, but before June 14th, incident with neighbor, brother, and stalker. Her brother... Let me see. The tape on David's door incident caught on camera. So that's April 19th. Also, neighbor has a screenshot of the back of the stalker as he removed the tape. After April 19th, but before June 14th incident with neighbor, brother, and stalker, her brother would do constant drive-bys to keep an eye on his sister. One day he spotted the stalker He jumped out of his car and tackled the stalker on the ground. A lady came out and screamed, and the stalker was able to run off extremely fast, neighbor was told. Ashley told me told me that night after David's murder, the killer ran very fast as well. David was home this evening as well. He called neighbor multiple times to let them know that what was going on. Also, neighbor's sister-in-law called to tell of the fight that was going down between her brother and the stalker. They called the police this evening, and they did come out for the incident. Here is what an officer said. Good job. Maybe it will scare him off. Good job beating his ass. Throughout all this time, dead roses would be left at the neighbor's doorstep. Only her apartment, not David's. Wow, that's crazy. Jesus. This story just gets nuttier. I mean, I don't even know if you put that in a script for a movie, they'd laugh at you. This stuff. Are you still trying to get the neighbor on, Kim?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the neighbor on.
Okay.
Let's see.
You're a sister, right? Kim? Oh. Let's see. Miscellaneous. David always sent emails to the police for every single incident that happened. On this particular day, he contacted Victim Witness Services, Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office. He also filed a victim statement letter to the Sheriff's Department. David also told neighbor to do the same. He said, no one should be forced to move. August 23rd, 2023, 4 days after David's murder, neighbor phoned the detective in charge. The detective had no idea that David was stalked. The detective came to neighbor's house once and just asked her questions. Also, a week later, detectives came to get copies of David and neighbor's messages that each sent. After this, nothing. Sounds like they just kind of dropped the ball. All right. Well, you still there, Kim? Hello? I hear like a sound in the background that I think Kim's one of the sisters. Well, wouldn't that make sense though if the detective on the scene is the father of a suspect? That they wouldn't be looking.
Oh, did I merge it?
I don't know. Are you guys both there?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
I'm good. I'm great at technology.
Yeah. Well, this sounds absolutely crazy. This whole, some of this last part. What was it? The dead roses. Right before that, was it your brother came by and he tackled the person?
Yes, yeah, he did. He saw him lurking around the bottom of the stairs and tackled him, and some ladies shouted out and scared him off, and the man took off running, and my brother said that he was a really fast runner.
Do they think it's the same person? He's the same guy, though, for sure? Or?
Yes, that's what I believe.
That's wild.
Yeah, and the laundry room incident, I called my brother, not my neighbor's brother. So I don't know how that.
Well, I think she's wording it. You're the neighbor,
Gotcha.
and it's your brother. Yeah.
Yes,
I had to go back and read it
okay.
again. I figured it out.
Yeah. It was just a horrible situation, and I really can't think about ever watching the video again or having to. It was just a really bad situation. We moved out because of the reason. every day we lived in fear, and I'm sure they felt the same way.
I'm actually glad that you didn't live there at the time of the homicide. I think it would make it just been, you'd probably have like PTSD on. I mean, if you even have it now, but it'd be 10 times worse, I would think.
Yeah, I'm sure I have it now, but you know, sometimes I tell myself maybe it, you know, we could have helped, or maybe it would have went differently, or who knows, you know. It's a question I always will hold inside of me.
Yeah. So how was so let's see, it was so Ashley and David, so you knew both of them pretty well, right? You guys are buddies.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah, and she seemed like she was just as terrified as everybody else, right?
Of course, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, in your opinion, do you think she knew, I mean, I don't know, it's hard to say if she knew the person, but it doesn't seem like it, right? Because everybody was like,
I mean, I can't really say if she knew him or not, but I could say, you know, David's suspicions, and, you know, I was right behind him on his suspicions, so.
And his suspicion was, well, the suspicion is like an ex-boyfriend, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, and don't you think it's weird, because in the email that I got today, it turns out, I don't know if you already knew this, but I don't think I don't think you guys did, but that the ex-boyfriend's father was the person that put David into a white van, like he's taking him to the coroner's office, and then almost shortly after that, the boyfriend contacted her, and they sort of rekindled. I don't know how long after, but like how long it took, but a while later, you know, they got back together, and then she dumped him again later because he was the same as he was before. But isn't that just weird? I mean, that's exactly what the motive would be for a boyfriend, is to take out the competition.
Very much.
Right?
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's a really uneasy feeling, and I'm shocked. I didn't know that. You know, the saying, the killer always goes back to the scene, and I find myself driving by there and driving around and just kind of, you know, hoping I see somebody that matches the description, but we don't ever see anybody around there, and we try to avoid that area as much as possible.
And it's weird too, because on a map it looks like the nicer area in the town.
It is, yeah.
So it's like, where do you go? Maybe it's time to move out of that town. You ever thought of that? I mean, maybe go to like.
Yeah, it's just you know, everybody doesn't have $10,000 to put down in a house in California, so.
Well, move to Texas.
To up and move.
Yeah, move to Texas where it doesn't cost that much. Yeah. California is ridiculous. It's like you know, you could sell a tiny house there and buy a mansion somewhere else.
Oh, I know. I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I believe it. And they wanted to move too, because David had mentioned they were praying. He was praying that, you know, they would be able to move soon. So that was something he did want to do.
Now, did you ever notice that there was some kind of conversations about him being paranoid about stuff?
Yes.
I mean, but it seemed like he almost had good reason.
I don't think about stuff. I think of the situation. I don't think just he was a paranoid person in general. I think he, you know, feared, you know, what was going to happen next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was saying stuff about, let's see. I mean, I've heard other family members say that he was paranoid, like for years, about other things, like, oh, like people are listening in and that. But this is real because you were there, you saw it. So, you know, maybe he was actually paranoid about stuff that was really happening somehow.
Yeah. It was extremely scary.
Yeah.
That's one thing I could say. It was very scary, and
yeah, I can't imagine.
Still can't.
How did you even
believe
sleep
it? It
at
almost
night?
feels like a nightmare.
How did you sleep at night during that time?
Yeah, there was times we didn't sleep. My brother would sleep over and stay up all night. He was armed, so he kind of walked around the apartment, stayed out our front door. There was times when we stayed at my sister's, stayed in hotels. It was horrific.
That's just, man, I'm sorry you had to go through all that. That's a freaking nightmare. How
Yeah,
often do you
yeah,
think this
it
guy
really
would
was.
come by? Go ahead. What are you saying?
Oh, sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, I thought you were. I interrupted you in the middle. You were about ready to make a comment.
Oh no, I just said it truly was. It was horrific.
Yeah. I mean, how many times do you think you actually saw this guy up there?
Saw?
Like, even
Well,
on
so the
camera.
first sighting was he was across the street, and it was before we had cameras. And he was pacing, just really acting really weird. And we were unloading our groceries.
Wow, almost
And
exactly
then,
the same. Isn't that crazy? Jesus.
Yeah. And then later on that day, my daughter went to the gym. She came back and went upstairs, and he was downstairs. She was on the balcony, and he was downstairs, just staring straight up at our balcony.
When you say balcony, is that the one
kinda
that comes out the bedroom, or the actual,
Correct.
like the walkway? Okay, yeah.
No, not the walkway, the balcony.
Okay, the balcony.
And that's not the bedroom. It's the living room balcony.
Oh, is that what that is?
So that's
Okay.
the living room where the balcony is. Yeah.
I see.
And our two kitchen windows, they connect. So if we're sitting in the kitchen, our window's open, we could see their window also. So that same night, after the first spotting of him, excuse me, it was probably it was later on, I don't remember what time, but I was cooking, and my daughter and her cousin were facing me, but I was facing out the window, and I just seen like a black shadow, and I just said, did they get there? And I kind of looked over, and my daughter looked, and she said, that's the guy. And we ran, and we screamed, and then we ran to the big balcony, and he just took off.
So
and then that's immediately
you saw him through that
Huh?
window up there, like up on the walkway up there. You saw him through that window.
Yes.
Just to the left of
my
the door.
window,
Like
and he was just standing,
right,
like really close to the door, trying to pick it.
Okay. But like you could go out, if you were to walk out your front door, just to your left is a window, and that's where you saw the dark shadow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you could see right there. Through the windows, you could see the walkway, David's window, door, and kind of down the stairs if you're looking close. And then immediately after he took off, we knocked on David's door, and he said that, he wouldn't have noticed him come in because he had his headphones on. So, I think a police report was made that night. I don't think it was captured that night, but a police report was made that night. And then again, the laundry room incident, a police report was made that night also. And then I think he had jumped on their balcony, and he said he made a police report on that also. So there's multiple police reports.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they should have put somebody out there. I mean, how often did this person show up? In the time that you were there?
I want to say, like, the time that we seen him actually on camera, maybe 5 times.
Wow.
And then the spotting my brother seen, and then the laundry room incident, probably about 5 times. But, who knows how many times he came before our cameras.
Right. And when your brother, what time of day was that when your brother tackled him?
It was dark already. It was before the store. So it had to be maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
And that was
Yeah,
that would have been already
yeah.
dark because it was April. So
Yeah. So
Yeah.
because we were at the store, and it probably closed at 9 o'clock, and we rushed out of there and got there and called the cops.
And when the police came, did they ever seem like they were interested at all, or?
No. They just kind of
Yeah.
said, "Oh, it's some wacko." One of the cops pulled to the middle of the street, did not get out of the car the time my brother tackled him, and told my brother, "Well, good for you for kicking his ass. Hopefully he learned his lesson." His exact words. So, yeah, that time he didn't get out of his car. I don't know if he did a report or not. Yeah, they just don't seem to care here.
I'm going to see if the chat has any questions they want to ask.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, what were they, like, you guys would sit around and have conversations. Maybe you can tell us, like, how the conversations went with you, David, maybe your husband, and Ashley. Well, about this, not like when they're just having fun times, but about this situation. Do you remember any of those?
Yeah, I mean, it was mainly about, the camera quality and making sure our cameras were charged up, and then just, pretty much his suspicions, and he would just, send me information back and forth, and just mainly about, the person he believed it was.
Well, what did your brother, when he tackled him, what did he say he looked like?
Pretty much pointed out the ex, how he looked.
Okay, but the thing is, one of the comments said that they had narrow eyes, but I see him with really wide eyes in that surveillance footage.
Yeah, wide and kind of downsided.
Oh, but I thought it said narrow. Did I misread that? Let me. See, I'm looking at that one. His right eye in this picture is really out there. It's like
big.
It's way out to the right. Let me open up that document again.
Okay.
If I can find it. There it is. I'm just going to type in the word "I," see if I can find it. It said, stalker was white male with shoulder length, wavy hair, no wig, brown eyes, close set. See, I think they're wide set. Don't you think?
Yeah, they are wide set.
They're wide set.
I'm just reading the notes, so you might, so it might have been wide set and downturned.
Yeah, so they kind of are wide and they kind of go down a little bit. But the first time when we seen him, he didn't have like the hair. That his hair didn't look as it did in the other video, like a wig. It looked like real hair. It wasn't shiny.
But was it brown? Like what color was the hair?
It was dark brown.
So in the what did your brother? Is that what your brother saw? Dark brown or?
Yes. Yeah, and he said he wasn't talking. He was just kind of mumbling, kind of like groaning kind of noises.
Sonia's saying she made a typo. You said wide set and she wrote narrow or whatever the hell it is. So anyways, no big deal.
Okay.
We got it figured out though. We got it figured out. Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, it is sort of interesting, right? So, I mean, knowing that David told you that he thinks that Ashley's ex might, like, he thinks that's the stalker, right? Is that what he told you? Or did he say that he thinks he might? I mean, what was the wording? Can you remember any of that?
Pretty much he believed it was.
Right. He believed it was, and then isn't it wild that, I mean, I know it's a small town, and if his dad's a detective, the ex-boyfriend, that he might be there. Yeah. But I mean, what a perfect place to then, oh wow, they're looking into my son, and then just it's covered up, right?
Yeah,
and then you start seeing her.
Exactly what he told me to.
Oh, he actually told you his dad's a detective, and he would cover it up.
Yes.
Oh Jesus! This is what David told you? Holy crap!
Yeah, and he said that he wanted to become a cop, but he couldn't pass the psych test. So yeah, that it was a discussion.
Who wanted to be a cop? Who wanted to be a cop?
The ex.
Oh, he wanted to be a cop, but he couldn't pass the psych test. But his dad's a detective.
Correct.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the police have every message in between us, shared between us, so they're aware of it.
Oh, so this was in the... You still have those text messages?
Yes.
Is there any way I could, I mean, I don't know, maybe see those, or just to have it as part of the record, or... I mean, if the police...
yeah, sure.
If the police aren't sharing them, then we'll put them on the air, and the police will go, oh, darn it, there they are. Okay, everybody, we got to get some pressure on them. It sounds like you had enough information back then. So, I mean, if you can send me ones that you think are pertinent, I'd love to have those to the kid.
Okay.
But let's see. Man, that's just absolutely crazy. I can see how that would. I could see how that could make you feel because you heard this. I remember I actually was talking to you or messaging with you, and you were just saying, yeah, he mentioned he thought maybe the ex-boyfriend of his wife had some, was the stalker, and that's all we knew, right? And then Ashley sends me this email that has all this other information in it about the boyfriend gets right back together with her, and he of course says, oh, my dad told me about it, so that's how I knew. But he already, it's possible he already knew because he's the guy. So he was taking David out so he could be the hero again. And
that's a big possibility.
Yeah, so this is just like a theory for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely deserves justice and didn't deserve that whatsoever. And it just makes me furious that, he's just walking the streets like nothing and eating dinner and enjoying life. And, poor David is not here. It's just devastating.
Wow. So what else you got? Let me get some questions from the chat though. A couple of those were them, but
all right.
What do you guys have out there? Anybody got any questions? Type them in. I'm telling you, you got to try one of these a beer with green olives in it though. Even if you hate beer, it tastes good.
Yeah, I don't mind green olives, but not beer.
No, and that's the thing. I know.
I love green olives and I hate beer.
I know. So now knowing that, now try like a Coors Light or something, and or a Corona and put the olives in there. Yeah, it's nuts. So good. Like 3 olives and a little bit of salt. Takes all the carbonation out, and it's kind of this nice little mix of. Anyways. Did David think Ashley knew about her ex-stalker stalking them? That's a question. Well, probably not.
Wait,
right?
Repeat it.
It says, did David think that Ashley knew about her ex stalking them? I'm sure he mentioned that to her.
Never. Didn't mention that to me.
Right, but I'm sure, like you guys were texting, don't you think that he probably mentioned it to her too? Like, man, don't you think?
Well, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't think of him as a man to hide anything from her. So I'm going to say yeah.
That's sort of interesting too, because you would think if he did say that in that letter, the email she sent me, that she would mention, like, yeah, wow, it's weird too, because like, hey, he told me that too, but I didn't believe it, so then we hooked up again, and then we broke up later because he was weird. But it seems
there's actually, he has a group of friends that live in the building right next to us.
Oh, the ex-boyfriend does?
So that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. Let's see.
And then out that later on.
And here's the question: did the stalking stop? You weren't around because you left 2 months before, right, or 3 months?
Like 2.5 months before it happened.
Yeah. So it says, did the stalking stop after the murder, even of the neighbor?
I don't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know, right? Because you weren't there, right? So I guess, and Ashley moved out immediately, so there would be no way to know that there was somebody still coming back around. But I bet it did. I bet it stopped.
There would be, because the lady that caught it still lives there. So.
Oh, the actual
I'm sure
incident,
if anything else is still happening, she's going to turn it in to the cops.
Do you know who that is? Have you ever tried to communicate with her?
I do. I have.
Maybe you can ask her that question. Well, she would have told you, right?
I can ask her if she's, seen anything since.
Yeah, that's a good question there, PG. How before his murder did stalking start? You guys have the first incident on camera incident?
No,
I don't know.
It wasn't. It was before we got cameras.
Right. But that was back in, I think it was February of 2023. So 6 months this was going on. Man, what a nightmare for you guys.
Yeah, it went on for a good while. It seemed like forever.
And when did they move into there? Wasn't it like November of 2022?
I don't know if it was
I think it was in...
possibly
actually
because
have
they
that.
got married.
They got married in September of 2022, so I think that I thought they moved in August of 2022.
Yeah, they moved in before they got married.
Yeah, I think it was August of 2022. They got married in September 2022.
Yeah, it says right here, August 2022 Windscape. That's when she's saying they moved in there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so...
because I remember seeing them on their wedding day, and they looked so happy.
So maybe it was
Yeah,
just
it
the... Oh, when did they get married? Say that again? I missed that.
September 2020. September.
2022?
At the courthouse in Santa Barbara.
2022, though, right?
Yep.
Oh, so it was even after they moved in there. So then maybe... so then about 5 months later, the visual stalking started. But it might have been before that when they were not quite being so brazen, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah, because they had a door camera from the beginning when they moved in, because he had told me that, if we mined and that they had previous problems and he wanted to put a camera up. But since it was pointed directly at my door, I told him, no problem, you can do it. But I believe he was having problems with their camera at times, so it was taken down for some time.
Yeah.
And then after the time when we saw the guy standing at his door, David purchased us a camera, so we kind of always have it up after that.
Man. I'm just trying to...
Yeah.
It's just hard to grasp all of this. I mean, it's not hard to grasp. I hear it all, but I'm just trying to picture as being a person living in society that would have to deal with this. I just
I know.
Can't imagine.
I'm just surprised, after all of it, or, seeing the guy with the gun, the cops couldn't park their car for a little bit or stay around the area or anything. They kind of just blew it off like nothing.
I know, it's lame. They should have been there.
And they said they couldn't do anything because the gun wasn't being directly pointed at us, that he was holding it, but it wasn't pointed at us, is what they said.
So in that incident, what was going on there? I mean, why was he holding the gun out visible? Just
I don't know.
Like he was just walking back and forth? Do you think he was
Just
trying to intimidate? Like just...
Yeah, that's what I feel like it was.
And why you guys?
100%.
See, like the
I
thing,
don't know.
I mean, what's weird is if the stalker is the ex of, maybe he was trying to get you out of there, and then then after you moved is when that's exactly what happened, isn't it? That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's kind of what I feel.
Holy crap!
Is they wanted to scare us off because he knew we were protecting each other and had cameras and we were looking out
God.
When all the weird shit was happening, we would stay out on the balconies for hours and watch and see if we see him. I had rocks ready to throw at him, and we had each other's backs, and I think maybe he knew that.
I mean, that's absolutely crazy.
I like
right
it was
there.
just we need to scare them so they can move out, and it worked.
and guess what? After you moved out, just a couple months later is when the murder happened. Now he knew there was nobody else watching, and they were alone with no other cameras on them, right? Oh, I know something just happened there. I think they, I don't know, let me call that back. I don't know. Maybe I can call it. Maybe they're still together. Oh. Are you there? Oh.
Yes.
Oh, you guys still both on the phone together?
One second. I'm going to...
Oh, I thought maybe if I got back quick enough, you'd be still on together. I mean, I don't know how much more we have to say, but... man, that's so obvious. I actually thought that the other day. I was thinking...
Okay, disconnected. I got it back.
Okay. Yeah, it was weird. It just went bloop. Who knows why. But yeah, I mean, that's just absolutely crazy. Just think about that. He's like really freaking you guys out intentionally, almost escalating the creepiness with holding guns and everything. and it got you to move
Yeah,
out. So now there's no more camera that's filming what's going on over there, because he probably wanted to go into that house at one point, but then just took the opportunity when they were unloading groceries.
Yeah. He had to be in, watching them or watch them leave or something.
Yeah. So do you know anything about how long ago he was dating, when he started dating
No.
Ashley?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
We never discussed any of that. I just know that he wasn't a good guy.
No, I was talking about Ashley and David.
David?
Yeah. Like 2020.
Oh, I don't know exactly.
I think it was like 2020, wasn't it? I thought.
I don't know exactly when they started dating. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Like
I don't know. I don't know 100% when they started dating, but I know it was. I'm pretty sure it was like the summer of 2022, and they got married in September of 2022 at the courthouse here in Santa Barbara.
Oh, so they didn't know each other
maybe,
long at all. But I thought they lived together before that, though. They had to have known each other long, right?
So I feel like the audio the email that I listened to from Ashley, that she visited like for a while, and then I feel like they didn't move in together until like based on what she was saying, till the summer of 2022, and they got married in September of 2022, because I was at the wedding for that, the courthouse wedding. Good.
But they lived in an apartment together in another place, right?
Yeah.
They lived
on 3rd Street, right?
Yeah.
For a minute, and that's why when we saw that dread scare picture.
Well, it says right here, it says right here, June of 2022. It said, soon after I met David, I frequented his apartment on 3rd Street. So this must mean they must have met like just before that, like. So you kind of wonder, like, when did she stop dating the ex? Just before this, like she broke up with him to be with him. I mean, that would make sense. If it was like 4 years ago, it wouldn't really make sense. But if it was like they were just dating, and she like broke up with him, and then started hanging out with David, and then they get married so quickly, you could absolutely see somebody, a jealous mind of a young kid, the rage building up on something like that, right? Like,
yeah.
Not that it's normal. I'm just saying.
July 16th, and that's like when they first started.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
July.
I'm pretty sure they started dating like June of 2022.
Well, that's what she's saying. She used to go to his apartment when he was over there. His aunt passed away and gave us the opening, so people knew of him and were friends of his aunt. This is why we lived here. When I came around, the neighbors took note of me. They didn't like me. They treated me like I was some snotty, rich, white kid, and soon started treating David differently.
It's a very bad place to live.
Oh. All right, so then they both moved together, and then in August they were in that apartment complex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in August, and then like a month later they got married, and then 5 months after that is when the stalking started. Yeah, this is all starting to kind of make. I mean, not to say that it is the ex or anything, but man, it makes a hell of a lot of sense,
Yeah, it's very quick, all of it.
And that's why I believe David believed it was him, because just how everything happened.
So you could imagine, like, when they first met, she was getting phone. This is what I bet you, that if they checked her phone, there'd be a bunch of phone calls from the ex being like, almost like stalking, hang up, like, he just wants to get a hold of her, right? Because she's dumped him to be with him, right? I mean, I'm just saying, right? Like, I'm just telling a story. So you could see that being what happened, that maybe it might not be that she dumped him for David, but it could be that they just recently had broken up, and he thinks that's why, and man, that could have created a lot of. Yeah, you can definitely see that.
That could have stirred up a lot of anger in him.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we.
Yeah, but-
I'd like to. I mean, what else? Do you have anything else to add, like that you're thinking about while we've been talking?
I'm just trying to think. I got that picture of him standing when he was putting that tape, so you guys could see the back of him.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to think.
Oh, that was that one. Yeah, that was at their door. Yeah, we haven't seen. That's sort of a new shot. Do you have a video of that, or is that just a still frame?
No, that was the screenshot I had to send to David, but my camera didn't save any video footage, which angers me.
Oh.
But that's a screenshot I had sent to David to tell him, just to show him the backside.
That's creepy. Jeez.
Yeah. And there's an incident too where he put dead roses at my door, and he put Vaseline on her peek holes.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very creepy, but very, the Vaseline. I'm thinking because maybe he wanted to knock, we have to open the door, or he didn't want me to see or him to see. I don't know why he put it on both of our peek holes. I don't understand that.
Yeah. Any other? Yeah, maybe he was obsessed. Who knows? But yeah, I think we should, like, if we're, I don't know, like, think about more thing. If you can think about anything else, and be great to do like another show with a bunch. Like, if you get like, this is where a panel would actually be kind of worthy, because you'd have multiple people. All like, you could have 4 of you, and you're thinking about various things. Right?
Okay.
But what I really want from you, neighbor, is the those screenshots, if you can find those for me.
Okay.
So I think those would be huge. Really interesting stuff. Maybe we'll actually put something together and send it in somewhere to the people that actually give a damn,
Okay then. Okay.
All right. Well, hey, thank you guys very much for calling, and
thank you for helping, and hopefully we get this.
Yeah, it's been too long already. Yeah.
Put to jail.
That's right. That's right. All right. Yeah. Well, thanks again, and appreciate it. Thanks for having the courage to come on. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that was absolutely crazy. So what do you guys think now? Don't you have a little, I mean, for those out there, Lisa Valenzuela and the rest of you, don't you have a little less feeling of like, oh, like, I mean, doesn't a little bit sway to the other side a little bit, The X sounds like a good theory. Doesn't mean it's true, but definitely is a good theory. Yeah, we don't know in Minneapolis. We don't know. Just saying. Now that you've heard sort of a whole... now the Broken Scouts, he's a little... he doesn't know now. You see, everybody? You just got to listen to a little bit. Because that's another neighbor that saw the same amount of craziness. It isn't that it's just a story made up by a crazy wife or something, psycho, whatever. This is like a real thing that this neighbor had the same fear and actually moved out because of the fear, probably the exact plan that the person had to get them out of there, because they weren't, they're not going to kill them, and then kill some, it's like a total, doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I was actually thinking about that yesterday, how they moved out before, and then he actually had them move out. He got them to move out. Anyways, all right, you guys. Well, barely reached the goal on tonight's show, but thank you. I still gave away the 5 memberships because I did an earlier show as well. All right. So thank you to... Wait, let me check something. Maybe let's see if she emailed. Sonia, she always messages me and then goes, "Oh wait, forget that last email." All right, no PayPals or anything. See, you guys, if you don't do the really big popular ones, it just, you get punished. Wanted to say thank you to, there was somebody that did like a, I can't find it. So thank you to Kami, Lisa, Paulina, new member, Angie Carter, Melissa Teal, new member, Jay Case with the cat eye, and thank God for those tonight or we'd be really struggling. Reen Cipher, 27 months, Allie Cake, Linda Howe, as in Linda Moulden Howe, of the cattle mutilations and crop circles. So, hey Lisa, you didn't answer my question up there. Don't you think that, don't you have a little different opinion now after hearing all of this other information? Be honest too. Don't get tunnel vision, be honest. Linda Howe, then She Sells Seashells, Paulette Leonard, Kami, Sonia, 1L Michelle, WNC Granny, Kim Christian, Donna Aldridge, Kit, and then the Broken Scout with 2 cat eyes. So without the Broken Scout and JK, so it would have been a horrendous night. Isn't that amazing? Thanks for everybody else for helping too, but I'm saying if you were to add it up without those 3, we wouldn't have been even close. We've done 40% of a goal. So thank God. Wendy Van Rokel, Jessica Schubach, Vibe Chick, Donna Aldridge, Desiree, Christy, the Broken Scout again, another cat eye, then Kim Clark, Simply Me, Lil Puppy Paws, then Heather N gifted a membership, then TJ's been here for 2 months, then I gifted 5 memberships, then Bridget Bauman, this account, and Little Puppy Paws, 99. I don't think she knew that he was, it was hard, I don't think she recognized the person. I mean, that would be kind of weird, wouldn't it? Like she knew it was him and then still dated him anyways. It's dark outside. She says she doesn't think it was him. You know? I mean, he didn't say anything. He didn't say any words. He probably had a mask all over his face again where you only could see his eyes. So she maybe didn't know. But obviously she would have been nervous about him. So that would make you a little bit, you know, it might have been a little weird. I mean, it could be that she knew that that was him. She doesn't say that she knows him, obviously. All right. Anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. It was 10 seconds.
Gonna
even,
get
Steve. It was 10
ya
seconds.
on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old
dark.
projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all,
Just remember I've a temper fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
That's right.
Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work.
Well,
All
it'd be
right,
great to cover a case, and we're just covering it from the beginning. We're going to get all the information. I think the text message screenshots would be amazing. Don't you think? Of them having a conversation about this kind of stuff and literally what his theory was and everything. I'd love to read that and get a little bit better context of them. I think that'd be really important. And then once you get that out there, then you start talking about, man, I don't know. I almost feels like you got to get, I'd maybe get a hold of the FBI, because they aren't going to do anything in that town, given that situation. If it is, they wouldn't even investigate that theory that I just told you. So that wouldn't even be discussed. But yeah, I see what Lisa Valenzuela is saying up there about maybe, it's kind of odd that, if somehow she knew who it was, because it was dark, really quick, you got the shock of somebody shooting somebody. You might not be able to tell, in a 10-second period of time who somebody is. I don't know if I could do that in the dark. Even if I knew somebody, I wouldn't, I could have a friend that I've known for years. In the dark, they could have, I wouldn't have a clue that they would be doing this. But in her case, if he's been doing it, not he's been doing it. When David's been telling her about, hey, I think maybe your ex, maybe that would have popped into her head afterwards, you would think. And maybe she would think, you know what, maybe that did kind of look like him. Who knows? Yeah, maybe, Wendy. Maybe I'll try to talk to, I don't know. They get kind of stuck on, there's big cases, and I understand why. You got to keep covering them because they get the views and the eyes on them. That's kind of like a microcosm of like YouTube, right? We want to, it seems like that's kind of what you have to do anyways. So anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time. What are the dogs doing? Oh, there. Look at Blue over there. Be safe out there. What's that on the, what is that silver thing right there? I have no idea what that is on the ground. Anyways, be safe out there, everybody. Hello? Hello, 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 hello.
Quit that.
Well, who is this?
This is Ginger.
Yeah, but the show's over.
I know.
Oh, well, what are you calling now?
I just wanted to know if it's okay to share the story out.
Share the story with who?
With some people.
Well, what do you mean? I don't know what you mean by that. I don't want other YouTubers doing it yet.
I don't watch any other YouTubers. I'm talking like with maybe John Scott Morgan.
Well, why would you want to tell him? What's he doing?
Well, he knows some other people as well. And I possibly.
Yeah. Well, let me just do what I'm doing for a while, and then we'll try to work it out. I want to have every piece of information first before they start jumping. Because what happens is they always take. I'll be working something, and then these other people, and then they go, oh yeah, and they start getting everything and everything, so that makes it tough, it makes it tough. But I don't mind. I don't mind if they get it though. We want to get it out there, but I want to get all the information, and then we'll put the information out there. You got in just under the buzzer. I was about to hit the stop streaming, but you're right there. You're right there. I just don't want. Oh wow, look at Chloe. She's taking up the whole screen. Oh my God.
I see that.
She doesn't even have a face. Yeah, I like Joseph Scott Morgan. He might be able to, once we get, I want to get all the information together, and then we start, then you get the bigger networks and everybody, like Court TV, and then maybe some other people pick it up. I think it's a really interesting case, especially when you start getting these screenshots and everything.
Okay. I didn't know if I could start sharing and saying that.
Well, do you know him or something, or
happening.
do you know? Do you know him?
Kind of, sort of. I know a few people that I would like to share with that could possibly bring it out with your attention, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think, I don't know what those guys covered, but they kind of do like cold cases and things like that.
Correct. Right? Oh, sorry, I said correct.
Oh my God, everybody type in correct. Hurry up. Type it in.
No.
Correct.
No.
No, that's not how you do it, Desiree. It's an actual emoji. You're a member now, so you got to click on the this one right here. There we go. Correct.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Well, the thing is
Don't
he's
do that
supposed
to
to
me.
be. I actually asked him if he wanted to come on my show sometime, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that'd be great." Joseph Scott Morgan. So maybe I'll have him come on, and we'll introduce him to the case at some point. But I want to get these screenshots first.
Okay. Well, there's one other person, but I'm not going to mention the name. Well, there's a couple other people.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, I know how to get a hold of these people when the time comes. You know what I mean?
Well, I figure you did.
Are you trying to jump? Are you trying to get ahead of me, or what are you doing? What's going on?
Absolutely not. Never.
What's going on, Ginger?
I am for you, not against you.
No, I didn't say you were against me. I meant get ahead of me is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Why would I want to get ahead of you? No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Never, ever.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely want it to be bigger. I just want to get the information, and then, then everybody has a lot of stuff to dig into with. I mean, at this point, we're trying to get all the stuff that never seemed to make it out there. We've already got new information tonight. I mean, I think that none of the family members knew that the ex-boyfriend's dad was there at the scene and actually put David's body into a white van, and they also didn't know that the boyfriend contacted Ashley, and they eventually sort of hooked up again, and then she broke up with him again because he was weird like he was before. So, but that's crazy stuff, right? Especially since David suspected the ex-boyfriend as being the stalker that was outside the doors all those different times. So there you go. I think this is one that I think the problem in this case is the conflict, exactly the conflict that Ashley brought up in that email. I kind of wonder if she did that on purpose, put that in there to let us know that. I mean, that's a crazy situation, but sort of worded it in a different way. So, anyways,
absolutely.
There you go. I gotta go give Blue I gotta give Blue some medicine, but hey, I'll tell you what. I'll let you know. I'll let you know right when we're pushing it out there. I'll let you do your magic. All right.
No, I'm not doing the magic. I was just asking. That was all.
Yeah. Hey, where do you live anyway?
Do
you live in Georgia or something like that, or right around there? North Carolina. I just said North Carolina right after that. Did you hear that? My next comment was North Carolina. Yeah. I mean, I sent you. Yep. You guys always have the cool voice. I like the voices over there. The accent.
Well, I am. I'm a Southern girl.
There you go. All right.
All right.
Well, that's it. Well, thanks.
Love the freaks.
Love the freaks, she said.
Love them all.
Thanks for calling in. All right. We'll see you later.
Okay.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Everybody have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was so funny. Like, I'm just ending the show. I'm like, oh. And I was like, what? What's going on? I mean, I was just about to hit the button. Yeah, just literally hitting the button to stop the streaming. But anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. Good job, Ginger.